Act 1. Darkness, rain, from nowhere, a woman emerges from her past.
No parent should have to bury a child. No mother should have to bury a son. Mothers are not meant to bury sons. It's not the natural order of things. I buried my son in a potter's field, in a field of blood, in empty, acrid silence. There was no funeral. There were no mourners. His friends all absent, his father dead, his sisters refusing to attend. I discovered his body alone. I dug his grave alone. I placed him in a hole and covered him with dirt and rock alone. I was not able to finish burying him before sundown, and I'm not sure if that affected his fate. I begrudge God none of this. I do not curse him or bemoan my lot. And though my heart keeps beating only to keep breaking, I do not question why. I remember the morning my son was born as if it was yesterday. The moment the midwife placed him in my arms, I was infused with love beyond all measure and understanding. I remember holding my son and looking over at my own mother and saying, now I understand why the sun comes up at day and the stars come out at night. I understand why rain falls gently. Now I understand you, Mother. I love my son every day of his life, and I will love him ferociously long after I've stopped breathing. I'm a simple woman. I'm not bright or learned. I do not read. I do not write. My opinions are not solicited. My voice is not important. On the day of my son's birth, I was infused with love beyond all measure and understanding. The world tells me that God is in heaven and that my son is in hell. I tell the world the one thing I know. If my son is in hell, then there is no heaven. Because if my son sits in hell, there is no God.
Jesus, carrying a bucket, has approached the woman. He kisses her cheek. She does not notice. They vanish. The courtroom. Court is in session. A woman with wings. Gloria rises.
Between heaven and hell, there's another place. This place, hope. Hope is located right over here in downtown Purgatory.
Next case.
Now, Purgatory, contrary to popular belief, has plumbing and bodegas, and they even got a movie theater in a little park that people can walk their dogs at. Hope, well, it ain't gone done at that, and it definitely don't smell good.
Next case, bailiff.
I worked here in Hope for 2.5 years. That's how I got these wings, and I wouldn't trade nothing for these wings. I can fly with these wings. At night, I fly down to earth, and I watch my littlest baby boy sleep. He's 7, and he's got a picture of me on the wall, right in between Shaquille O'Neal and the Incredible Hulk. Then I go fly down to the window of my oldest baby girl's house, and I watch my grandchild, little bit, sleep. Most nights I can see my oldest baby girl, Tanya, and her feet in a pot of hot water, always studying books and sticking around to see her man, Winston, come home late at night from work. Always with a muffin or a hamburger from a baby girl. Winston's love for my baby girl is all over his face. I was wrong about him. I always thought he was shifty. When I got back to heaven, I'll tell my husband, Delane, all about it. Delane don't like to fly, but he likes to hear the stories. And he likes how I look at him. I come home from earth like all wind blown. Now hope it changes with the times, but it has stood always as God's gift to the last of his children. And it is said that every civilization rearranges the scarlet furniture differently. In biblical times, hope was an oasis in the desert. In medieval days, a shack free of plague. Today, hope is no longer a place of contemplation, ignition between being preferred a new order of the day.
Where's my damn bailiff?
Here, sir.
They call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. God of the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Thorazine the implacable. Motion to appeal.
Denied. Next case.
God in the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Henry Wayne Mercer. Mountain.
No.
God of the kingdom in heaven and earth versus Benedict Arnold.
Oh, hell no.
God in the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Judas Iscariot? Who brings this crap before me?
Your Honor, my name is Fabiana Aziza Cunningham.
Never heard of her.
I live in Purgatory.
Well, you should have kept your legs closed. Motion denied. Next case.
Your Honor, I have a writ signed by St. Peter at the gates of heaven.
Next case.
But I have a writ.
She has a writ, sir.
Excuse me?
Just saying, the lady, she's got a wrist, so I mean.
Bailiff, let's set up a little signal between the two of us, okay?
Okay,
Good. Now, when I come to court dressed as Echo Man in a one-piece bathing suit, that'll be our signal to you that I want your opinion.
yes, sir.
Next case.
But what about the writ, sir?
What's your name, bailiff?
Julius, the author of Magnolia.
You're on work release from purgatory, Julius, correct?
Yes, sir.
Wanna get to heaven someday? Eat fried chicken and mashed potatoes? Feel the sun on your face?
Very much, sir.
Then call the next damn case.
Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir.
Good. Have a lollipop.
Thank you, sir.
Next case.
But like the writ, sir.
Bailiff.
Yusuf Akbar Wahid al-Nasar Ba'al al-Finami rises dramatically from his seat in the courtroom.
Your Honor, if I may,
Who speaks before me?
it is I, Yus Akbar with Al Nasar Gamad Fayom.
Who the hell are you?
An attorney, great sir, willing and able to prosecute the sham of a case and defend the gates of heaven and the kingdom of God against the big shenanigans of the so-called writ, great handsome sir. Look no further, Your Honor. Yus Abik with Al Nasar Fayom is the beacon for justice.
I beckon thee.
May I quote you?
The bench, not me.
The bench, of course, yes. And it is a lovely bench, splendid yet sturdy like the great the rear that rests upon it. Your Honor, I received wind of the so-called writ several weeks ago. I have been preparing night and day to refute the allegations it contains.
Your Honor, let the record reflect I have no opposition to Mr. El-Fiomi here.
Speak when spoken to.
Do not bait, great man. Do not bait the great man, lady. He presided over the appeal of Attila the Hun, when you were nothing more than a cheap shot of whiskey on your great-grandfather's first unpaid bar tab.
Well said.
Forgive the outburst.
You got a license to practice, Mr. Fajita?
A license, yes, absolutely. Submitted for your most scrumptiously discerning approval, great sir.
And El-Fiomi crosses, fumbles, searching his pockets for the license.
Sir, his name is Alfanu.
What?
You called him El Fijito.
Just give me my glasses.
You're wearing them, sir.
My other glasses.
Oh, here.
Most worshipful Lord and Master, very tiny problem, my license. I seem to have left in my other suit. I could rush back to hell and retrieve it.
From hell, are you?
Temporarily detained, a problem with my papers.
You sure about that?
Quite sir, your grace, I attribute the mix-up to the Americanization of the afterlife, completely understandable in the lieu of recent events.
You're damn right.
Yes, your embassy. Are you great sir?
Cunningham, let me see this writ.
Here, Your Honor. Judge reads the writ.
You have great legs, Fabiana. Free for dinner, perhaps.
Cunningham, this writ is garbage. Next case.
Your Honor, my client, Your Honor.
Your client is Judas Iscariot. Your client sold out the Son of God. For Christ's sake.
Your Honor, that has no bearing on what we're trying to do here.
Cunningham, Judas Iscariot committed the one unforgettable sin. Everybody knows it.
The sin of despair.
And then he did the world a favor and hung himself.
From the olive branch, the coward.
Next case.
Your Honor, the writ you hold is in your hand signed by St. Peter.
I know Peter, and he's prone to error. Believe me, he is rash.
Rash, absolutely. A little place called the Garden of Gethsemane. Ring a bell, Fabiana? When the authorities came to arrest Jesus after your client sold out with a kiss, what did Peter do?
I know what he did.
Well, know it again. Peter took out his sword and started chopping off the ears of the authority. Can you imagine? Jesus had to correct him, put the ears back. It was a big mess, really.
Next case.
But Your Honor,
Next case.
Come, Fabiana. Dinner and a sensual massage. It will soothe you.
Your Honor, I cite the intrigues and the key guard. I cite Christ on the cross.
I cite my foot in your ass, Cunningham.
I cite Hegel. Within every idea, thesis is to contain its contradiction and antithesis. And out of that struggle is created synthesis. Synthesis, Your Honor. The union of opposites, interdependence, and their inevitable clash producing what's next. What must be revealed, God's perfect love versus God's rightful justice equals what, Your Honor?
Out of my courtroom.
The synthesis of love and justice can produce only mercy and forgiveness. Your Honor, if A just God sits in heaven, it can fall no other way.
Next case.
But Your Honor,
Next case. Next case. Next case.
blackout.
Crazy, bitch.
In darkness we hear voices, noises, and protrusive rumblings like an earthquake. Lights flash. All right now, people, cue them trumpets and the dancing camels. The sounds of trumpets and dancing camels are heard. Music and wild lights.
Thanks, boys. Hey, y'all. Welcome to my world. So is this part of the story where if it wasn't for me, there would be no parts to this fucking story, okay? My name is Monica, better known to mere mortals as Saint Monica. Yeah, that's right. Saint, as in better don't get up in my grill, because I'll mess your shit up. Because I'm a saint and I got mad saintly connects, okay? You ever drove down Santa Monica Boulevard? You ever ate some sushi down Santa Monica Pier? Well, that's my boulevard and my pier. And that's all I gotta say about that. Word to the wise, word is most definitely B-O-N-D, bomb. Anyways, let me catch my breath. Always up in heaven, a lot of people don't wanna hang with me because they say I'm a nag. It's true, and y'all, and you know what I say about that. I say, fuck them bitches. Because you know that I'm a nag. And if I wasn't a nag, I would never made it to be no saint. And the church wouldn't have had no father or the church named St. Augustine, because I birthed them motherfucker. Raised him when he started messing up like the time constant. I nagged God's ass to save him. I nagged and nagged and nagged and nagged till God got so tired of my shit that he did save my son, and my son, St. Augustine, he stopped paying whores and sipping on that wine, and he became learned, so fucking learned, that he's known as one of the fathers of the church. And you could look at that shit up. You can look that shit up. Go ahead, look it up right now. I'll wait. That's right. Father up in this motherfucker. Father of the church, got a plaque and everything. So if I hadn't been a nag, all y'all niggas wouldn't have been a bastard church. So sip on that, bitches. Anyways, let me catch my breath. Okay? As a result of my reputation of having God's ear, a lot of motherfuckers pray to me. I have 3 full-time assistants just to sit through it all. Long story short, I was asked to look into the case of Judas Iscariot by the Irish gypsy lawyer, bitch in purgatory named Cunningham. She wanted me to do some nagging to God on Judas' behalf, and quite frankly, I was impressed by her nagging ability. Because that bitch nagged my ass day and night for 40 days. But I don't nag for just anybody, and I definitely don't nag for no motherfucker I don't know. So I went down to check out Judas for my own self.
And now she's with Judas.
He looked fucking retarded and wouldn't talk or nothing. He didn't seem to hear me, and I'm not someone who has a problem expressing myself. I figured he was faking, so I did this. Yo, Judas, you deaf motherfucker? Judas, yo. So absolute shut. Yo, Helen Keller, yo, wake up. Don't front, I know you can hear me. Then I started snapping on his ass. Yo, Judas, you got a change for 30 pieces of silver, motherfucker? Yo, Judas, how much you pay for that haircut? 30 pieces of silver? Yo, Judas, why you so hung up? Come on, let's hang out. Come on, bitch, go out on the limb. You want an olive? Come on, motherfucker, you want an olive? Want to go to the Olive Garden restaurant? They got good, I'll pour you there. All right, fine, come on, Judas. What I say, you and me, go down to the bar and portray some motherfuckers. What do you say? I know you like betraying. What's up? You ain't in the mood to betray today. All right, motherfucker. We can just hang. Get it? Hang. Get it? Yeah. Get it? What's the matter? Hungry? How about some supper? You want supper, motherfucker? Come on, last supper. What do you say? I sat with Judas Iscariot for 3 days. Then on the night of the 3rd day, something happened. While I was resting my vocal cords, I saw something unexpected. I saw a single tear fall out of Judas' eye. Just one. When the tear hit the ground, I saw it was red like a ruby. I looked into his eyes like this.
She looks into Judas's eyes.
He couldn't look at me, or he looked through me. I couldn't tell. His eyes was empty. He barely breathed. He was like a catatonic statue of a former human being. And I detected sadness in him, paralyzing, immobilizing, overwhelming sadness. His sadness ran through him like a river that frozen up and died, and no one lived there no more. After a while, I didn't know what else to do. So I thought I'd just hold him up in my arms for a minute, warm him up before I left.
She cradled Judas in her arms and beat.
I held him in my arms for 4 days. On the third day, I remember how Jesus had said that God has the biggest love for the least of his creatures. And Judas was the least creature I'd ever seen. On the 4th day, Judas dropped another single tear. It was clear colored this time, and it evaporated into the earth on impact. He trembled briefly, then froze up again. I had seen enough. I took off my outer garments and left them for him to smell something human. I collected my tears in a bucket and poured it out on his face so he can taste the salt. Then I went back home and he got on the horn to God. I dialed direct. Yo, some people call it being an ad. I call it doing my job. I got it. I got a call calling y'all. You should try giving me a shout out if y'all ever need it, because my name is St. Monica. I'm the mother of St. Augustine. I'm the fathers of church, and y'all know what? My ass gets results.
Next case.
God of the kingdom of heaven and earth versus Judas Iscariot.
Bailiff?
She's got a writ signed by God, sir.
Signed, sealed, delivered, motherfucker. Peace.
Here's the ring, Your Honor. No, signature at the bottom. St. Monica and Judas vanished.
Bailiff? Bailiff? Where's El Jatia?
Present and accounted for, and dripping with anticipation to defend with marvelous cunning and great relish of the kingdom of heaven and earth, and your great sinnerness against the Satan-spawned traitor Judas Iscariot, and his beguiling out outlandishly misguided counsel, most eminently great and religiously handsome great sir.
B. Cunningham, I do not like it when lawyers go over my head.
You gave me no choice.
Objection, Your Honor. As human beings, we always have choice. Motion to strike.
Mr. El Vigita, you are aware that the trial hasn't actually began, right?
Yes, right. Of course, I was merely, yeah, sir.
He sheepishly sits.
Abifina, Aziza, Cunningham, that right?
It is.
So where's the red hair and the freckles, Cunningham?
My mother was a Romanian gypsy who settled in Vinegar Hill in Harlem in the 1960s.
And your father?
A local parish priest.
Got more than his pomegranate, did he? All right then, Cunningham. I think it's only fair at this juncture to tell you some things about myself. Things that may perhaps inspire you to take your little mission elsewhere. For example, I strongly dislike tapioca pudding.
Tapioca the worst. I spit on it.
Sit down. Cunningham, but even more than tapioca, Cunningham, I dislike the following. Defense attorneys, as a rule, half-breeds in general, and Judas Iscariot is anything other than contrary tale. And is that a problem for you?
No.
You ever met God, Cunningham?
I don't know that I believe in God.
You just handed me a writ signed by him, and yet you don't know if you believe?
Correct.
Well, what if God appeared to you, Cunningham, just one day, boom, God. White beard, flowing robe, the whole rag-a-lam.
Your Honor.
What if you were to go home tonight, Cunningham, and Jesus Christ himself were to greet you at your door with a dozen Krispy Kremes and a quart of cold milk and say, Cunningham, Fabiona, it's me. I really am that thing you've been always feared more than doubted. What would you do?
Your Honor.
And what if you let him in, Cunningham, and you sat down with the man for just, say, 3 minutes, and you could touch him and inspect him and interrogate him all you want and have him do miracles and tell you the exact story of your life, and you end up convinced. Cunningham, wiping away tears of joy, relief of your living room couch, on your living room couch, if he proved it to you, Cunningham, would you believe then?
If he proved it, I suppose I would have to.
After only 3 minutes.
But that would never happen. What are you even talking about?
Cunningham, you're the cynical, faithless spawn of a crackpot gypsy, a defrocked Mick. Yet you showed me Jesus would have you on your knees in 3 minutes.
So?
So consider this, your friend Judas. He had Jesus for 3 years. Think about that, Cunningham. 3 years in a foxhole with the best friend you ever had. Then you shot him in the back for a pack of coals. Think what they say about the essential character of a man. Now go home and stir until your wee gypsy teapot. Petitions invalid, motion denied, next case.
Pure genius, I am erect.
Your Honor, this position is signed by God.
Yeah, but it ain't signed by your client. Now, is it?
My client is catatonic. He's incapable of signing anything.
This is catatonic. How do you know he wants an appeal in the first place?
Who wouldn't want an appeal to eternal damnation?
Someone who's aware of their own self-inflicted erosion, the capacity to be fueled by grace. Someone too prideful to ask for forgiveness, even in the face of the fiery furnace. Or maybe he don't bother asking because he knows he don't deserve it.
Your Honor, the only person who needs forgiveness is the one who doesn't deserve it.
Let him ask.
I'm asking for you. I'm asking for him.
Out of the courtroom, sister, and may God have mercy on your blasted, arrogant soul. Now get thee back up, uptown, woman. Stop your rabble-rousing and get humble, because you're gonna get to heaven by trying to dismantle the national order of things. And the good Lord has a thoughtfully protect together.
Your Honor, are you a citizen of heaven?
Bailiff, move this woman.
You live here with us. You know more about God's law than anyone else in this court.
My papers are pending. I'll be up there any day now.
Your paper's been pending since 1864, Your Honor, and that's 140 fucking years ago.
If there's any insinuation at the end of that statement, Cunningham, I suggest you don't make it.
Not an insinuation, Your Honor, but a question. If the truth really does set us free, then what is it, Your Honor? That is progressively precluding your capacity to respond to the call of that truth. Because 140 years ago suggests to me that you are moving not closer, but farther and farther away from it every day.
What the hell does Judas Iscariot have to do with my truth, Cunningham? I didn't hang myself from some olive branch.
Not from an olive branch, but on a battlefield in northern Georgia in 1864. Allatoona, Andy Tree, Oak, I believe. Your Honor, I have to wonder what your honest answer will be when you are someday asked how different you are from the day you die.
Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. That work for you?
It does.
Put it on the docket.
What docket?
Just write it down.
Bailiff takes out a pen and scribbles with his hand.
Anything else, Aviona, Azusa, Cunningham?
No, Your Honor.
Next fucking case.
Fear not, your grace. I shall slay the fallen woman as the crocodile slays the one-legged mule.
Next case. Next case. Next case. Next case.
Gloria and Loretta wearing a hospital gown appeared.
Very little is actually known about Judas Iscariot. Oh, this is my fellow jury member Loretta. On Earth, she's currently on life support.
Hi, hello.
Have you figured out whether you're coming or going yet?
Not really. Any day now, they say.
Gloria takes a peek around.
Say, Loretta, you smoke cigarettes?
Well, not unconscious on the respirator.
Yeah, but you got one for me?
Maybe in my clutch.
Oh, snap.
Oh, here.
Oh, snap. Newport. Oh, you're my girl now. You got a light?
Yeah, it's a NASCAR lighter, too.
She lights her cigarette and inhales.
So anyways, about Judas, not a lot of known except that he was chosen to be an apostle. He betrayed Jesus and then he hung himself. Not a lot to go on, especially when we're meant to rely on facts.
You know, I had an uncle. Can I say this?
Go ahead.
When I was a little girl, my drunk Uncle Pino, he used to like to go around saying,
Uncle Pino appears.
I believe because it is absurd. It is certain because it is impossible.
Uncle Pino vanishes.
What do you mean by that?
no clue. But I think,
Butch Honeywell enters. Ladies, we're back.
Oh wait, hold up.
Gloria snaps her fingers dramatically and both Butch and Loretta freeze in time.
Now that's Butch Honeywell, and unlike Loretta, he definitely dead. And also unlike Loretta, he got no real interest in finding that out.
Gloria snaps her fingers and Butch and Loretta unfreeze.
So Butch, did we miss anything here?
Oh, just some crap about the essential paradox of man. How we refuse to juxtapose the absolute to the relative, and some such. about paradox as an ontological definition which expresses the relation between an existing cognitive spirit and eternal truth. You know, BS. Listen, they passed out the lunch menus. I ordered you guys the combo club with fritters.
Ooh, awesome. Thanks, Butch.
Right this way, ladies.
Next witness.
Great, magnificent sir, the prosecution now calls Henrietta Iscariot, mother to Judas Iscariot, to the stand.
State your name, ma'am.
Henrietta Iscariot.
Yes, good day, Mrs. Iscariot.
Good day.
Yes, well, I can't help but notice, Mrs. Iscariot, that you are a very well-built woman. Would it be fair to say that your cup runneth over?
All the Iscariots are buxom, if that's what you mean.
My meaning exactly. Now then, can you recall if Judas Iscariot, as an infant, was prone to steal more than his fair share of milk from your deliciously well-appropriated bosom? Well-appropriated bosom?
I can't recall that, no.
Very well, but can you recall this? I take you back to the year 8. You were a single parent raising many children. Judas, being your eldest and the man of the family, you sent him out fishing to get food for you and his poor starving sisters. What happened next?
Do I have to answer?
Just tell the truth, man.
Well, Judas didn't come home till very late. I waited by the fire. I was worried. He was only 8. I was concerned that maybe the Romans had detained him for shoplifting again.
A shoplifter! So please, the court.
But then he came home.
Judas crosses, sits on the floor. He's only 8.
Hi, Mommy.
Judas, I was so worried.
Look what I got, Mommy. A spinning top.
Judas, did you catch any fish? Your sisters are weeping with hunger.
Weeping, your great sir. Weeping and wailing.
I caught 5 fish, Mommy.
But where are they?
I sold them in the market and bought the spinning top. Look how it spins, Mommy.
Judas is scared. I'm ashamed of you.
But Mommy,
Selfish boy, you'll come to no good.
Selfish boy, you will come to no good. Was that your statement at the time?
He was only 8.
8 and too late. Nothing further, great sir.
Cross.
No, thank you.
I wasn't asking you.
Thank you. Mrs. Iscariot, what happened the next day?
Well, he ran away from home that night, and I searched for him all day. Late in the afternoon, I observed the following.
Matthias of Galilee, a sad-looking boy, crosses to Judas, who is spinning his top alone.
Hi.
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 Hi. My name is Judas. What's yours?
Matthias of Galilee.
Matthias sits.
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't you go home and get your spinning top, and then when you get back with your spinning top, we can play battle with spinning tops.
I don't got a spinning top.
Oh?
I wish I had a spinning top. All my friends got one except me.
Yeah, that's rough. I used to not have one too.
All the kids, they call me sissy pants, because I don't got no spinning top.
You should ask your mommy to buy you one.
I don't got a mommy.
Ask your daddy.
I got a daddy, but he's very stern. He don't believe in spinning tops, so I can't never get one.
Wow.
You probably think I'm a sissy pants too.
No. Hey man, don't cry.
It's just very hard to get through life without a spinning top, you know?
You want to try mine?
For real?
Here.
Matthias spins the spinning top, and his mood immediately improves.
Wow! Nobody in Galilee's got a spinning top like this. This is a wicked cool spinning top, Judas.
I picked it out myself.
Boy, oh boy, your father must really love you to buy you such a most definitely dope spinning top as this.
And my father's dead.
What?
Yeah, the Romans killed him.
Yeah? The Romans, they took all our goats last month, and now we don't have no money for nothing, even food. And so my father makes me go to the butcher and ask for bones for my dog, but I don't have a dog. And the butcher knows I don't have a dog, but he gives me bones because he takes pity on me. And then I give them to my father to make soup for us with the bones, and we eat it, and it tastes really bad. And my grandmother says, my father's pride is wounded because he can't earn no money because the Romans took our goats, and that's why everything's messed up, and I can't have no spinning top or nothing. Uh-oh.
What?
I better go home now. I have to be home before 6. My father's very stern.
Oh, okay.
Thank you for letting me play with your spinning top, Judas. Maybe someday my daddy will get some more goats, and then I'll get a spinning top, and then I'll come back and play spinning tops with you, and we can play spinning tops and stuff, because that was really fun.
Well, the sad boy started to leave. Yeah.
Wait!
What?
Here.
What?
Yeah. You can have it.
I can have your spinning top?
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
Wowie, zowie, dang! Thank you, Judas.
Matthias kisses Judas on his cheek and exits.
When people ask me who my son was, I tell them that story.
Thank you, Mrs. Iscariot. The witness is excused.
Not so fast, Mrs. Iscariot. Your son was picked up by the Roman authorities the very next day on a charge of stealing a blind man's staff, correct? A blind man's staff that he then pawned to Omar the baker to purchase. It says here, cotton candy and a royal blue spinning top, correct? Correct is the correct, Mrs. Iscariot.
I don't know. It was so long ago.
Speak into the microphone.
There is no microphone.
Yes, this is true. Your Honor, we have reason to believe that the staff depraved blind man in question was later run over by a rabid Judean camel. Here is a death certificate. No further questions.
Next witness.
Yes, great. Why, sir, prosecution calls the incomparable Mother Teresa to stand.
Mother Teresa hobbles up to the stand with a cane. She's old but tough. She wears her signature sari and a cross around her neck. She can barely hear it all.
Name.
Did you say something?
Name, please.
What?
Your name, please, ma'am.
Oh, Jess. 10:45, okay?
I'll film me take charge.
Who's that?
Mother Teresa. Hello, over here.
Who's that?
Hello, it is I, Mother. Remember me?
Oh, Jess, handsome boy. Hello.
Yes, hello. How are you?
Speak louder, boy.
I said, how are you?
What?
I said, how are you?
Judge, bailiff, I believe we do have a hearing device for Mother Teresa.
Get the device.
I believe you have the device, sir.
What? Here?
Bailiff takes a large set of earphones and hands them to Mother Teresa.
Ma'am, please put these on, ma'am.
What?
Bailiff puts the earphones on Mother Teresa's head.
Oh, thank you, giant man.
Yes, hello, Mother. Yes, can you hear me now?
Jess.
How about now?
Jess.
Helping me now, simply mime speaking.
How about that?
You are tricking me, no?
Yes, I was tricking.
Bad boy.
Very bad, a scandal. Yes, I know.
Elfiona, Mother Teresa tittered. Your Honor, if prosecution is through flirting with the beautified, iconic virgin, we could perhaps begin.
El Fiona contact has been established. Let's get on with it now, shall we?
Without further hesitation, Your Grace. Forgive the delay. I was simply enamored to be in the beatific presence, Your MC. I love Mother Teresa, great one. In Christian Egypt, she is a great star. As a young boy, I used to don a towel on my mother's nightgown and stalk the back streets of Cairo looking for dying things to comfort and south. Yes.
Becomes a little emotional.
Mother, I love you really. You are the oasis, you are the lights.
Do we need to take a moment here, counselor?
Yes, Your Honor, perhaps. Yes, we do.
5-minute recess. Adjourned.
Lights crossfade to St. Peter and St. Matthew sitting in a quiet place above.
My name is Peter. They got a basilica named after me in Rome, which is ironic, because back in the day, if you even said the word Rome in my presence, more than likely I'd beat you with my stick. I even had a standing rule on my fishing boat that was strictly enforced. Talk about Rome, and your ass can swim home alone. I had to have those kind of rules laid down strong, because my younger brother, Drew, and his friends, they like to waste their time talking about overthrowing Rome and the coming of the Messiah instead of focusing on the task at hand. And I always be like, look, fellas, unless your Messiah gonna come down right now and help us catch some fish, then y'all need to shut the heck up and put your undivided focus on these damn nets. Then one day, Drew didn't turn up for work. Then he come running up to me at the shore at the end of the day when I'm bringing the boat back in talking about, this is Jesus, bro. He's the Messiah. I ain't fishing no more. I'm gonna follow him. And this Jesus, who resembled the Messiah about as much as I resembled ballerina in a tutu, strides on up to me and says, "Catch any fish today?" And I says, "No, I did not catch any fish today." And he says, "Take the boat back out to the sea and you're going to catch the fish." So I took Jesus out with me, intending to throw his ass overboard. But then he says, "Cast your nets wide and deep." So I did. And then, well, all I can say is I'm a damn professional commercial fisherman. No one knew the sea and its tides better than me. There weren't no fish out there, but that's because it turned out they were all in my net. And then Jesus said, "Follow me and I will make you a fisherman of men." And what I didn't know then was that I would never see the sea again.
My name is Matthew. I was a Jewish tax collector for the emperor. My job was to take food out of your mouth and see it shipped off to Rome. Rome tax was exorbitant and non-negotiable. If you had 6 geese, I took 3. If you had a flock of sheep, I took 50%. If you had only 1 sheep, I cut that sheep in half. If you had no sheep, I took a child, your child, and had him or her sold into slavery to settle your debt to the emperor. This is not a made-up story. This is history. This is fact. We were a conquered nation, and I was a traitor to my people. I was a Jew stealing from Jews according to the laws. I was a sinner and a traitor. I was unclean, unfit to be gazed upon. That's who I was.
I hated your ass to look at it.
And I looked at you, Peter, as a dumb, ignorant fisherman.
And I looked at you, Matthew, as something I can't say in mixed company.
I was a scumbag.
True that.
I was a scumbag. And it was against the law to look me in the eye. Jesus, he looked me in the eye. That's all he did. Looked me in my eye, and he said, "Follow me." Before I knew it, I had. Before we broke bread that night, I was clean again. I was clean.
Lights fade.
El Fayami, are you ready to proceed?
Absolutely. Forgive me the delay. Mother Teresa, I will not take much more of your time here. And certainly you are in no need of introduction.
I don't mind.
Very well then. Mother Teresa, you are a soon-to-be canonized saint and recipient of the Nobel Prize for Peace. You are from Albania, which tells me you know how to handle a firearm. But yet, from the age of 12, you desire to serve God. At 18, you entered the covenant, and at 21, you left the slums of Calcutta, and soon after began ministering to the sick and dying, which you did with mercy, love, grace, and generosity for the rest of your life and to the day you died. Correct?
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely yes, Mother. Now then, Mother, I call you to the stand today for a special purpose.
And what's that?
Yes, I'm coming to it. Mother, your life and subsequent canonization suggests to me that you know a thing or two about God and the life of the Spirit. Correct?
I know what I know. What do you want to know?
Yes, Mother. Is there a how?
I hope not, but I think so.
Judas Iscariot, he is in hell. Yes?
Well, we can never know for sure, but it don't look good.
Mother, should we feel sorry for someone in hell?
Very sorry, Jess.
Does God feel sorry for people in hell?
More sorry than us, Jess.
But if God feels sorry, why not bring the damned upstairs?
Boy.
3 hots in a cot. Yes? Surely God has the power.
Boy, God can lead us anywhere, but sometimes the people, they don't want to go. And if the people don't want to go, then what are you going to do?
But surely these people do not prefer to go to hell.
You'd be surprised. Do you know what despair is, boy?
Mother, illuminate.
I'll tell you what Thomas Merton, who was a very handsome boy like you, I will tell you what that boy had to say about despair. You may not know this, but at one time in my life, suffering a great spiritual darkness.
Oh no, not you.
Quite now, boy. Jess, for many, many years, I experienced a terrible pain of loss, of God not wanting me, of God not being God, and of God not really existing. One day, I confided my feelings to a friend, an Irishman, one of the sisters of Loretta from Dublin, Ireland. My friend, Sister Glinda, she quoted me me Thomas Merton on the subject of despair. She said,
Sister Glenna appears.
Despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Can you repeat?
Yes, sure.
Despair is the ultimate development of a pride so great and so stiff-necked that it selects the absolute misery of damnation rather than accept happiness from the hands of God and thereby acknowledge that He is above us and that we are not capable of fulfilling our destiny by ourselves.
Ah, yes, I think I see.
Sister Glenna vanishes.
Judas, he succumbed to despair. The music of God's love and grace kept playing, but he made himself hard of hearing, like me, no? He needs this earphone device to hear you. Jess, without them, I cannot hear nothing. Judas, he threw his earphones away, and that is very sad. But that is what he chose, and that is what happened.
But mother, couldn't God have just obtained a megaphone and simply shouted instructions into Judas' ear?
Boy, one most participate in one's own salvation. In order to hear, one must be willing to listen. When you turn off God, you are saying, I know better than you. No good, boy. No good.
No good indeed, mother. Mother, you are a ravishing delight, and I thank you for your astute and expert testimony.
Cross.
Mother Teresa, upon receiving your Nobel Prize, did you say to the world, quote, the biggest obstacle to global peace in the world today is abortion?
Jess, I said that.
Do you actually believe that?
Jess, I do.
You accepted large cash donations from the Duvier family in Haiti, correct?
Jess.
Duvier being a dictator who murdered and stole from his people.
He gave. I took.
Blood money.
No, cashier's check.
You also took money from Charles Keating, the savings and loan scam artist who robbed American citizens of billions and billions of dollars.
For the poor, I took it. For you got $5, I'll take it from you too.
You opposed the Vatican II reforms, which, among other things, called for a long overdue official condemnation of anti-Semitism as it relates to the death of Christ. Do you oppose Vatican II, Mother Teresa?
Yes.
You blamed the wars of the world on abortion, took blood money from murderers and thieves, and opposed taking a stance against anti-Semitism. I'm having trouble understanding why we're supposed to consider you an expert on anything having to do with the spirit.
Oh, Jess.
Yes.
Then maybe you better figure it out.
I had 2 abortions, Mother Teresa. What do you think about that?
I will pray for you and your children.
I don't have any children.
Not anymore, and that's terrible.
Mother Teresa, abortion is so terrible, then how come I'm not in hell?
I don't know. Did anybody ever tell you you were?
Must be nice to have all the answers.
Must be hard to have only questions.
I can live with my questions, Mother Teresa, but if you can live with those answers, then, with all due respect, I'd say your place is not in heaven with the saints, but with the rest of the dinosaurs living in the Stone Age. Nothing further, Your Honor.
Mother Teresa, I wonder if you join me in wondering just who the hell defense counsel thinks she's speaking to like that?
Oh, it's okay, boy. Everybody want to say something.
Yes.
Nobody want to listen. What? Go ahead, nothing.
This is correct, Mother. And on the wall, struck note, Mother. Let us now go back and address some of the outlandish.
Mother Teresa rises.
I go now.
But I'm not finished.
I go now.
As you wish, Mother. And I think we should all emblazon in our memories. Thank you, guys.
Mother Teresa takes off her headphones.
Boy.
Yes, Mother?
Maybe, boy, you can give this earphone device to girls like this. Maybe girl want to hear something, make her hear, don't hurt no more.
There's nothing wrong with my head.
Cunningham, stand down.
Nice boy. Handsome boy.
And time stands still as we see Mother Teresa hobble off with the bailiff. Cunningham.
Name.
Simon the Zealot.
You were one of the 12 apostles, Simon, correct?
Yeah.
And you were a zealot?
Yeah.
Was Judas Iscariot a zealot?
Well, he didn't go to the meetings or nothing. But yeah, he was pretty much a zealot, if you ask me.
Zealots being Jews seeking an end to the violent oppression of the Roman occupation, correct?
Actually, not exactly, no.
Are you saying the Zealots were in favor of the occupation?
Nah, not at all. We hated the Romans. Absolutely, we wanted their pagan asses to hit the curb, running and bloody. But we also opposed any Gentiles in Palestine, Greek, Roman, whoever. What us Zealots was really about was promoting a strict adherence to the Mosaic law.
Mosaic law being?
The law of Moses, the Torah. That was the whole bag right there, miss. Get rid of the bag of seeds and unite the people under the holy law of God. Basically, we were street versions of Caiaphas, and the elders, except we had knives and shit, and we thought Caiaphas was soft.
Soft how?
With the Romans. He was a bit of a politician, you know.
And what was life like under Roman rule?
Where you from, miss?
New York.
Okay, imagine New York was taken over by like violent devil-worshipping cannibals who spit on your laws, stole all your money, took your women and children as slaves, and put giant swastikas all over bridges, tunnels, libraries, and civic institutions. And anybody that complained about it got nailed naked to a piece of wood in Times Squares, left to be eaten by the rats, and shit on by the pigeons until the weight of their bodies asphyxiated them to death. That's what it was like.
And you thought Jesus was going to save that, didn't you?
We all did.
Change it how?
Wrote him out. That was what the Messiah was supposed to do.
But he didn't do that, did he?
Nah.
And yet, he was capable of it, wasn't he? You saw him perform miracles, raise people from the dead.
It was a bit of a conundrum, yeah.
Were you at the disturbance at the temple?
Yeah.
What did you think about that?
You kidding? I loved it. Judas too. We all did. We thought it was okay, you know?
On meaning?
The beginning of the revolution.
But it wasn't, was it?
Nah.
What happened after that riot at the temple?
Jesus had us all retreat to this house. Then he was like, I'm going to die soon, so let's just chill.
Damn, must have been pretty disappointing.
I was confused. I mean, whacked out. Shit, man. 1 minute Jesus is beating infidels down, and I'm taking fists and whips. Jesus is whipping ass, knocking out teeth, screaming, he's going to tear down the temple. The next minute, he's all passive. And we were all like, we've invested 3 years in this guy, and now he's going to just lay down? It didn't seem to make sense.
Simon, what do you think Judas Iscariot why do you think Judas Iscariot turned Jesus into the authorities?
Personally, I think Judas was trying to throw Jesus into the deep end of the pool, make him swim.
Judas was testing Jesus.
Not testing, because we all knew Jesus had mad skills, passed the test.
What then?
Listen, I knew Judas pretty good. We was pretty tight on account of, you know, our politics and whatnot. What I believe is this: Judas knew that if the Romans grabbed up Jesus, that Jesus would have to act.
Meaning?
Meaning act. Get it on and start kicking asses like he was supposed to. Emancipation was our birthright. That's what the Messiah was there for. I think personally that Judas did what he did to help Jesus realize his destiny and fulfill his mission.
Judas tried to help Jesus.
I believe so, yes.
Thank you.
So Judas was a helper, huh?
Yeah?
Just there to lend the helping hand, yes?
Yeah?
Yes. I think you're correct, zealous one. Because for me, I know that it is my best friend were to sound me out and betray me for a roll of quarters, causing me to be beaten, whipped, gouged, and mangled, and then sprung up and left to be backed by the hot Judean sun, so I resembled a shriveled bird. I don't know that one.
Frankfurt.
Frankfurt, why yes! I'm sure my first thought as I gasped for air and bled to death would be really that Judas was a helpful guy. Oh yes, I must remember to send him the thank you note. Simon the Zealot, let's talk turkey. Judas was your friend, yes?
Yeah,
You thought the same way, yes?
yeah,
Shared the same opinions,
yeah,
had the same beliefs,
yeah,
wanted the same things,
yeah,
wanted them desperately.
yeah.
Then why, Zila, did you not do like Judas did? If you believe what you believe and thought what you thought, why, how do you say his name? Zealot, did you not join Judas or turn Jesus on your own? Can you explain me this?
I don't know.
Protecting a friend. That is admirable indeed. Zealot, Jesus never said his mission as Messiah on earth was to overthrow the Romans, did he?
Not exactly, no.
You wanted it to be the mission. You even thought it was the mission, but it wasn't really the mission, was it?
I guess not.
How you spell the same name? Zealous? Zealous. How is it, Zealous one, that you came to understand that violence wasn't a part of Jesus' mission, but Judas never did?
I can't say.
Answer me this. What was your inner life like before you met Jesus of Nazareth? And I don't think I need to advise you to be honest here, do I?
No, I was consumed with anger. Jesus, he saved my life.
Man of zeal, final question. Do you believe, as the Bible says, that God made man in his own image?
I do.
Of course you do. And there, Zealous, lies the answer to one of my previous questions. The difference I pose between you and Judas Iscariot is that you accepted that you were created in God's image, where Judas Iscariot, he thought to create God in his own image, God as earthly avenger, which was not God's way. And even though you were scared, Zelia, and even though you were confused and angry and hurt, still you chose to obey God, didn't you?
Well, I guess I got lucky.
Lucky indeed. There is something beautiful about you, and that is your modesty. You are a God-fearing man. Go now. Be free.
Jesus never proclaimed himself to be God, Simon, correct?
Nah, he never did.
What did Jesus say to Judas at that Last Supper?
He said, do what you gotta do.
So it sounds like Jesus approved.
Maybe.
But if you were Judas, Simon, and doing what you had to do, ended up getting you thrown in despair and hanging from a tree, and then sent you to hell and living misery and infamy in perpetuity, if you were Judas, wouldn't you have kind of wished that Jesus maybe said something else instead?
Yeah, counselor, I very much would have.
Would it kind of make you feel like you got fucked?
Objection language. A foul mouth is a dirty bird.
I withdraw the question.
I would have felt like you said, so.
Thank you, Simon. Nothing further.
Next witness.
Most revered Senor, with your magisterial permission, prosecution now conjures Satan, Prince of Darkness, to the stand.
Satan answers, waves amicably to the jury.
Name.
Fabiana Zia Cunningham, right?
Lou.
I've been keeping the lights on for you, Cunningham.
Come on now, Lou. Why don't you take your seat and we can get started here?
You never change. Frank, do you?
I suppose I don't.
I like that about you. Now say how's Wilhelmina doing and the girls?
I wouldn't know. Now, park your caboose in that chassis, if you would, please.
I'm sorry, of course. Fire away. My apologies, Frank.
Bailiff answers.
Bailiff,
I was hoping to elderly, sir.
let's just proceed. El Familia, proceed.
How are you today, Satan?
Well, long night, but no regrets.
Up late partying with yeah, partying, huh?
Oh God, does it show?
Oh no, not at all.
I tell you, I could barely make it through my double session Pilates this morning. If it weren't for the good genes, I'd be a raisin, the tits, and a perm.
Yes, wow. Oh, very good. Sincerely, really, Satan, you have an excellent physique.
Oh, thank you. So do you.
Oh, thank you. You too. Yes, I make exercises. Anyway, so, no horns and tail today, Prince of Evil?
No.
And the dry cleaners, I suppose.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, I must say, claimer of the damned, your candor is quite refreshing.
As is yours.
Oh, thank you. Yes. Oh, yeah. Your jacket, Satan. Really, it is smart.
You like it?
Beautiful, really. Armani.
Gucci.
Ah, Gucci. Yes. Elegant. Very. Yes. And your trousers, they're Gucci too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gucci. Yes. Elegant. They have a lovely sheen. Anyway, let's begin then, shall we?
I'm at your service.
I appreciate that.
I appreciate your appreciation.
Excellent. So, Darkman, tell me, did you ever have any conversations with Judas Iscariot prior to this sounding out of Jesus Christ?
No, I did not.
Sure about that?
Quite sure. Yes.
Never entered into him, as I believe St. Luke's Gospel puts it?
No.
And again, you are more or less sure of that.
Ask my main squeeze sheet. If I had entered Judas Iscariot, trust me, he would have felt my considerable presence.
Yes, you and Jimmy Woods. I've heard the rumors. So then, would it be safe to say that the devil didn't make him do it?
Absolutely. Unless, of course, there's some other devil running around I don't know about.
Very funny. Wow, really, you're quite charming, Satan. But let's be quite clear.
Let us be.
But let us be quite clear. You did nothing, Satan. Nothing to sway Judas Iscariot towards sounding out of Jesus of Nazareth, Prince of Peace. Correct?
Correct.
Not even a tiny nudge.
Honestly, he didn't require much. Judas was a gimme. It happens like that sometimes.
A gimme, yes. A bad seed.
Yes.
Yes. Well then, how about after he did the deadly deed? Did you speak with the Savior betrayer then?
I spoke to him, yeah.
Care to share?
Not a problem. I appeared to Mr. Iscariot at Bathsheba's Bar and Grill shortly the night after the night in question. I was actually in town for a guy named Abul Mazazi Hatton, but he never showed. When I encountered Mr. Iscariot, he appeared to have already taken full advantage of the happy hour.
Judas crosses to the playing area. He's very drunk and very troubled. Satan meets him.
Oh, hello, friend. How are you doing this evening?
How am I this evening? What are you, a fucking maitre d'?
I'm Clementine of Cappadocia.
Yeah? Well, why don't you go home and fuck your mother, Cappadocia?
Cappadocia.
What?
It's Cappadocia.
Well, let me ask you something. Cappadocia? Do I look like someone who gives a flying fuck right now about where the fuck you're from?
I'm very sorry.
Sorry, don't mean shit, Dick. Tell all the sorries in the world, pile them up on one top of the other, and you know what? You got Cappadocia. You got a big pile of fucking nothing, is what you got, okay?
You're right.
You wanna do something about this?
No, sir.
Well, then go fuck your mother and leave me the fuck alone.
I will. Thank you for the advice.
Hey! Where you going?
It seems like you prefer to be alone.
Now, why would I prefer that? What are you saying, man? I look like some kind of lone wolf? Like a fucking piranha, bro?
Do you mean right?
I mean what I mean. What, do you need a light or something?
Oh, thanks.
Like this lighter?
Very nice.
Yeah, I bought it today, man. Expensive shit. But I got it like that.
I can see you're a man of wealth and substance. I admire that.
Wealth and substance. Man, don't push it. So what's your name?
Clementine of Cappadocia.
Clementine, eh? Isn't that a girl's name?
Not in Cappadocia.
Well, it is here, bro. You sure ain't you a girl, man?
Pretty sure, yeah.
I'm Judas. Judas Iscariot. Maybe you heard of me.
Nah, man, I'm from out of town.
Never heard of me.
Nope.
You don't get around much, do you, Clementine? So from whereabouts you from? Egypt?
Cappadocia.
That's in Egypt, though, right?
No, Cappadocia is in Cappadocia.
Man, I dig your pyramids, man. And the Sphinx. Hey, bartender. Pour that Mesopotamian wine for my Nubian friend here and some dates and figs, too. Hey, did you smoke clam?
Clem,
And some opium, bartender, the good stuff.
you seem like a man on a mission.
I took this girl to a puppet show today, man.
Yeah, how was it?
Fucking sucked. Puppets are bullshit, you know?
Yeah, in Cappadocia, we burn puppets.
Well, you people got the right idea over there. That Pharaoh, he's a smart man, yeah? Hey, Clemmy, cheers. Cheers. Yo, hey, what? That's a nice shirt. What'd you pay for that?
2 pieces of silver.
2 pieces of silver. Ha! I'll give you 5. Here you go. Switch shirts with me.
But I'm rather fond of this shirt.
Ah, come on, man. Switch shirts. Switch shirts. We're buds now. Friends and shit. I'll let you be my wingman. Get you laid, bro.
A brunette, a nice brunette.
2 brunettes in a unit. Come on, man. Straight. Okay.
They switch shirts.
He was so drunk he didn't even notice my unmistakably satanic stench.
Yo, I dig this shirt, man. What is this, silk?
From Cappadocia.
Man, fucking Cappadocian silk. All right.
Your shirt's nice too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Wow. Thanks, man. That's a nice thing to say. Yeah, been a while since I heard something nice. That's really nice, bro. Hey, man, if I told you something corny, would you think I was like a dick?
Not at all.
Okay, I'm currently mildly afraid of going to hell.
Why?
Minor incident last night, a miscalculation on my part, nothing serious.
Well, one thing I can tell you about hell, as an internal destination, it's apparently vastly underrated.
Yeah.
And hell is nothing more than the absence of God, which, if you're looking for a good time, it's not that bad at all. You want to play the lute, sing Mary Kaplan Carpenter, then that's heaven for you. You want to rock, apparently hell's the venue.
Are there like girls down there?
Not many, but I hear they import them from developing nations on the weekends. But hey, I wouldn't worry about going to hell.
Even if I did something perhaps a little controversial?
God understands.
Yeah, but don't choices have like consequences?
Come on, you really think we have a choice?
Well, don't we?
Okay. Did you walk past that fucking disgusting, stinky fucking leopard on the way in here tonight?
Who? Freddie?
Freddie, yeah. You think he had a fucking choice? Freddie's stinking it up out there. Can't scratch his balls from fear of pulling out one of his testicles. And what about what's his face from the old days, Job? Don't you think if Job had a choice, he would have been like, okay, God, enough. I get the fucking point.
Yeah, but Job did say that.
Yeah, he did. And what happened next, Judas? God kept right on fucking with him until Job made the only choice available, which was to quietly keep his wrinkly ass cheeks spread wider than the Red Sea until God got tired of drilling him for oil.
I get it. I'm saying. Never mind.
What?
Not important.
Come on.
Okay, well, say what if someone were to betray, for example, the Messiah?
You mean the Messiah?
Yeah. Some idiot had a choice to betray the Messiah or not betray him, and he chose to betray him.
Gee, I couldn't say. What you think?
I said that guy's fucked, right?
I really couldn't say.
Come on, Clems. I'm just asking.
Well, since you asked, I guess I'd say if this...
Because, I mean, this guy's just some hypothetical guy, right?
Right. I say this clown we're talking about portrayed the Messiah, that probably it would have been better if he was not even born.
Never born.
Hey, you asked.
That's heavy, man. That's a fucking heavy trip, man, Clems.
I'm thirsty. How about you?
That's fucking really heavy.
Let's have another round, Pops. 2 barrels of wine and a hooker menu. You okay, man?
Clems, man? I haven't been laid in 3 years, bro. Can you believe that? Guy like me.
3 years?
I wasted my prime, man, and then I wasted my prime after my prime.
Well, I think you probably get fucked tonight, bro.
You think so?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, what? I want another fucking drink tonight, man. I'm gonna drink this fucking bar.
Hey, Judas, let me ask you something. Who is this Jesus of Nazareth guy I've been hearing about?
Jesus of Nazareth?
Yeah, I heard he's some kind of somebody.
Some kind of somebody?
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Ah, man, fuck that guy, man. He's a bitch.
Fuck that guy, he's a bitch, Your Honor, nothing further.
Cross?
Not at this time.
Lou, stick around.
I know the drill.
Meal break, 15 minutes.
Fabiana, free for lunch.
Lights fade. Cross fade to Judas's lair. Jesus is there with his bucket alone. End of Act 1. Act 2. Saint Monica appears with Mary Magdalene.
Hey y'all, it's Mary Mag. She the only bitch I let hang with me up here. Tell them what you gotta say.
My name, Mary Magdalene. I was a disciple of Jesus. I was present at the crucifixion, and I was the first person he appeared to after the resurrection.
Bitch got clout.
Yeah. I was one of the founders of the Christian faith, and I was known for my ability in times of difficulty to be able to, turn the hearts of the apostles towards good.
The good.
Some people think I was a hoe.
Side against the bitches.
Other people think me and Jesus was married.
Feminine bitches.
I was not a hoe.
Pimps up, hoes down.
I was an unmarried woman in a town of ill repute.
Ill repute.
And also, I was not the wife of Jesus either.
Still love you.
But I am pretty sure that I was his best friend. We shared an intimacy that I cannot put into words, except to say, we saw into each other's hearts and were, in love and what we found.
Love.
I also knew Judas Iscariot very well.
Gangster.
Yeah, out of the 12, he was the most moody and the most impetuous, and yet he was my favorite.
Tupac.
And in some ways, I think he was Jesus' favorite too. Judas was almost like the alter ego of Jesus. He was the shadow to Jesus' light. He was the sour to his sweet and the cool to his warm. They often walked together more often than not arguing. No one could get a rise out of Jesus like Judas could. I can remember times when Jesus emerged from an argument with Judas positively furious, shaking his head wildly, snorting and clicking his teeth, red-faced with exasperation, and he would tell me what they had been fighting about, still agitated, but inevitably, he would end up staring into space and sighing, smiling. I think like if someone were to say that Judas was good for Jesus, they wouldn't be mistaken.
Not mistaken.
When I think of Judas, my heart breaks.
But Mary Mags, if we were all eternal, and if human life is the only first mile in a billion, do you honestly believe that God could abandon any motherfucker so soon in the journey?
I don't know. Jesus never talks about it. That's how I know his heart hurts worse than mine.
Next witness.
Defense calls Sigmund Freud, Your Honor.
Name? Dr. Sigmund Shlomo Freud.
Dr. Freud, would it be accurate to say you qualify as an expert in the field of modern psychiatry?
Freudling, I am modern psychiatry.
Objection, Your Honor. The witness is boasting.
Overruled.
But a boaster, eminence. It is distasteful, really.
Sit down, El Fabio.
I lunge to obey you, Your Grace. But let the record reflect the prosecution has grave reservations about the man's alleged so-called standing as a psychiatric expert. Yeah, there you go.
Perhaps a quick jaunt to London for a leisurely perusal of the standard edition of the complete psychological works of Sigmund Freud, volumes 1 through 24, would set your mind at ease.
Perhaps it would be if you were indeed. Oh, I see. Right. Yes, of course. Yes.
Dr. Freud, you are, in fact, the founder of psychoanalysis, correct?
I am.
You maintained a private practice in neuropathology for nearly a half-century. Is that not so?
It is.
You were on the cover of Time magazine, an issue dedicated to the greatest scientific minds of the 20th century, correct?
I was.
And you're familiar with the case history of one Judas Iscariot?
Most certainly.
Dr. Freud, in your expert opinion, can a suicide victim be pre-certified as psychotic?
Without question, man's instinct for self-preservation is his most supple and reflexive muscle. When that muscle fails, it is because his mind has failed. A decision to take one's own life can only be precipitated by a failure of the mind. An irrational rebellion against a man's most basic instinct to endure and live. Therefore, yes, the victim of suicide must be certified as indeed psychotic.
In your expert opinion, Dr. Freud, was Judas Iscariot a psychotic?
Without question.
And are psychotics responsible for their actions?
No, they are not. For example, say I have a bad bout of influenza. As a result of my bad influenza, I sneeze flu, but involuntarily in your face. The next day, you wake up with the same flu. Did I cause your flu? No, my flu caused your flu. I only sneezed because I was sick.
In your opinion, Dr. Freud, does Judas Iscariot belong in hell?
No, he does not.
Explain.
Suicide is a direct sign of mental illness.
But did he become mentally ill after allegedly betraying Jesus of Nazareth? Or was he mentally ill to begin with?
Pre-programmed, yes. You must understand, normal people do not kill themselves, even under extreme duress.
And what would you say to people who would say that Judas brought about his own mental illness by betraying Jesus and then getting crucified?
I will say this. Number one, you cannot conjure or bring about mental illness. Number two, any God who punishes the mentally ill is not worth worshiping. And three, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. The person who could have prevented this tragedy was Jesus, not Judas. He chose not to.
But isn't Judas responsible because he did what he did of his own free will?
Fraudulently, I once had a suicidal patient leap through my fourth floor window to her death. She exercised her free will. Did I build her a stake for the broken plate glass window she leaped through? Of course not. My friend, Winston Churchill, who provided me safe haven from the Nazis in 1938, likes to say, the price of greatness is responsibility. I believe firmly in taking responsibility. So, after the unfortunate woman's death, I exercised responsibility for my greatness by moving my office to the ground floor. I should think God would have done the same.
Your witness.
Dr. Freud, yes, sorry for the mix-up before. So here, doctor, I must admit, I'm intimidated to be in the midst of such greatness. After you all, you are a genius, correct?
Correct.
An expert.
Yes.
A big brain.
Unequivocally.
Yes, unequivocally. Yes, nice word. And it rolls off your tongue so effortlessly. Really, I'm impressed. A little tired. Are we, doctor?
Excuse me?
No, a little, cocaine, doctor, blow, flake, rock, she don't lie. Does she, doc?
What?
Over a 12-year span, you consume cocaine in what can only be categorized as massive quantities, correct?
As part of my research, yes.
Research, yes. And after 12 years of round-the-clock research, you finally came to the conclusion that ingesting staggering amounts of powder up your nose was perhaps unhealthy.
I was trying to determine its medicinal value.
Is that your real nose?
Your mother denied her breast, didn't she?
I'll thank you to let me ask the questions, Dr. Freud.
Freud.
Oh yes, Freud, of course, forgive me. I made a slip up, didn't I? Anyways, last question, Mr. Expert Genius, Dr. Freud. You were an avowed atheist all your life, correct?
Correct.
And then you died and found out what?
I experienced anti-Semitism as a child. It prejudiced me against all religion.
Einstein experienced prejudice, but he wasn't wrong like you, was he? My cousin can't count to 10 without drooling, but he wasn't wrong like you either. Was he? Was he?
Intelligence and faith are two different things.
Are they, Dr. Freud? Because I would say that you can't have one without the other, but of course I'm not a brilliant genius like you, am I?
I had a wonderful, vibrant mind, and my intellectual curiosity was boundless.
Good day, doctor. Go blow your nose. You are excused.
Dr. Freud, do sane people commit suicide, yes or no?
No. Though they can sometimes be tempted to murder.
Go murder an 8-ball egghead.
That's enough. Next witness.
Next witness. The Majesty. Prosecution calls legendary Hawaiian singer and popular entertainer Don Ho to the stand.
Don Ho, not dead.
Oh, well, thank God for that. In that case, prosecution calls, what's his name? That's the elder, high priest of the, to the stand.
Rising. Right. Ladies and gentlemen, jury, at this time, I must excuse myself from these proceedings until such time as said witness has concluded testimony. Before this decision into the lap of the Lord, Safias the elder and I were partners in a successful chain of kosher peace apology in East Purgatory. For that reason, at this time, I must step down. Bailiff, get your ass over there, put those glasses, adjudicate. Pronto, proceed.
Judge Adly, now film approaches Cunningham.
Fabiana, may I borrow a pen?
Only if I can shove it through your eye.
Fabiana, how can I prove my sincerity to you? Even though you are always here and I am always here still, I think of you when you aren't here, even though when you really are here.
Next witness, please.
Yes, I obey. Later we shall discuss. Yes, Julius C. Bailiff, correct? May I call you, it's Julius, right? Julius, yeah.
All right,
How about Jules?
I guess.
So tell me, Jay, shall we commence?
That'd be good.
Wise Jay, prosecution calls Caiaphas the elder.
Caiaphas enters.
Caiaphas the elder priest of, hello to you. Yeah. Hit me with that word again, guys. Sanhedrin. Hello to you.
Hello.
Shalom, as it
Shalom.
were. Caiaphas the elder, perhaps you can clear this up. Is there a Caiaphas the younger?
No.
And yet, you are the elder?
Yes.
I see, yes. Thank you. My cousin, Ahmad, one of the $5 now, so Caiaphas the elder. In the Bible, it says that Judas Iscariot made an approach to you, a dark and nefarious approach, to offer up the location of Jesus of Nazareth, and to, in fact, turn him into you and the authorities, correct?
Correct.
Caiaphas the elder. Are you saying that it was Judas Iscariot who approached you and not the other way around?
Yes.
Because I saw a film once, Caiaphas the elder, where it was you who approached him.
It was Judas Iscariot who approached me at the temple, not the other way around.
Yes, but still, even though your statement is indeed confirmed by all 4 Gospels, Caiaphas the elder, I must ask you again, did you approach Judas Iscariot about betraying his leader and Messiah, Jesus of Nazareth?
I did not.
Why not? Jesus was a big-headed to you, no? You were legitimately concerned that the hijinks of Jesus would lead an uprising and a resulting crushing Roman massacre of your Jewish people and retribution, weren't you?
I was.
So why not reach out and touch someone? Caiaphas the elder?
Are you asking me why I didn't try to approach one of the apostles initially?
Yes.
I didn't think it would work.
Why not?
There's an old radical saying, let them kill you, but do not cross the line. During my 18-year reign as head of the Sanhedrin, guardian of the temple, I dealt with countless messiahs, ziots, rebels, and fanatical believers. My experience in these matters taught me they get killed, yes, but as a rule, they do not cross the line.
Cross the line. Yes. This means what?
To betray your ideals, your conscience, the law.
Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
He did.
He betrayed the idol in betraying Jesus, the rabbinical idol. He crossed the line.
Yes.
Do you admire that?
No, I do not.
But why not? We all cross the line sometimes, don't we?
We are all capable of crossing the line. Thankfully, we do not all do it.
But really, Caiaphas the elder, what's the big deal? You crossed the line, so what? Just draw yourself another line, correct?
No, not correct.
Why not?
The line comes from God, doesn't it? The line is given, it is not created, and thus it is not ours to modify. It is only ours to obey or to betray.
I see, Caiaphas the elder. When Pontius Pilate just arrived in Judea, he visited you in the temple, did he not?
He did.
And as a show of force and might, Pontius Pilate attempted to place symbols of Rome in the temple, which was, to your people, a great desecration of your holy place of worship. correct?
Correct.
It would have constituted a worshipping of false idols. Yes?
Yes.
Caiaphas the elder, when you saw Pontius Pilate attempting this, what did you do?
I told him that he must remove the pagan symbols.
And what did Pilate say to that?
I believe the guts of his reply was, "What are you going to do about it, Curly?"
And what did you do?
I knelt before him.
And begged for mercy?
No.
Growled for forgiveness?
No. I removed my headdress, bared my throat to him, and I bade him sit.
In other words, Caiaphas the elder, you let him kill you, but you did not cross the line.
I guess so. Yes.
You did not cross the line.
No, I did not.
Judas crossed it though, didn't he?
He did.
Interesting. And by the way, what was the result of your standoff with Pilate regarding the sanctity of the temple?
Pilate backed out.
He didn't put the pagan symbols, didn't he?
No.
You held the line.
Yes.
Your integrity castrated him, didn't it? His little Roman balls rolled down the temple like withered purple grapes, yes?
I have no response to that.
As well you shouldn't. Now then, last question, Caiaphas the elder. It has been said that the Western culture, the most prized virtue in honesty, but in Eastern culture, which would include Judea at the time, and Eastern culture, the most prized virtue was in loyalty. Caiaphas the elder, do you agree with said hypothesis?
Counselor, there are 613 sacred laws in our Torah. Complying with these laws requires honesty and loyalty. But the most important requirement of the law is obedience to it. That is what is most prized.
Yes, fair enough. But in your opinion, was Judas Iscariot loyal?
Obviously not.
Was he honest?
No.
Caiaphas the elder, was Judas Iscariot obedient?
To his own will and desires, yes. I believe that he was.
And to the service, that will, and those desires, Judas crossed the line, didn't he?
He deserves a necessary purpose, but as a fellow Jew, I confess, he disgusts me.
Caiaphas the elder, I thank you, and I may add, you are much more handsome in person than when they portray you on the silver screen.
High Priest of Sanhedrin. That was an extremely powerful and prestigious position in Judea, correct?
Correct.
In fact, except for the Roman governor and King Herod, the high priest was in actuality the most powerful position in Judea, was it not?
Yes.
Would you mind looking me in the eye when you respond with a question to my questions?
My position was very important. As high priest, I maintained sacred laws, the safety of the populace, and our tradition.
Caiaphas, is there a reason you won't meet my gaze? Or is ignoring women simply another component of the tradition you were charged to maintain?
Objection, Judy. The witness is not just a holy man, but a very holy man. Defense counsel is aware he is a juicy, help me out guys, dish. And yet the witness is being betrayed for merely avoiding the salacious temptations of her intoxicatingly firm and fragrant aromatic flesh. I move to censor, really.
I withdraw the question.
Sexy vixen, you are warned. Hey! Oh, Julius, yes, forgive me. She makes my organs bounce. Yes,
Sorry. Yes, he sits. Caiaphas, you stated to the prosecution that Judas Iscariot crossed the line and that he disgusted you, correct?
Correct.
Well, then maybe you can help me out here, because I'm a little confused. Judas Iscariot handed Jesus of Nazareth over to you, correct?
Yes.
And then you handed Jesus of Nazareth over to Pontius Pilate, correct?
I did.
So what exactly is the difference between you and Judas Iscariot? Because unless I'm missing something here, I'm failing to see it.
Between me and Judas, big difference.
Caiaphas, you were a rabbi and a Jew. Jesus was a rabbi and a Jew. Is it not crossing the line for one rabbi to hand over another rabbi to be killed by pagans?
Jesus was a blasphemy, seditious rabbi, and I did not know for sure he would be killed.
But the penalty for sedition was crucifixion, correct?
That was Roman charge, not mine.
Yes, your charge was blasphemy. And what was the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Your Honor, I will not sit here and be blamed for the death of Christ yet again.
No one's blaming you for the death of Christ, Caiaphas. I'm simply asking you a question, which I'm directing you to answer now before this court. You charged Jesus with blasphemy. What was the penalty for blasphemy, Caiaphas?
Stoning, followed by hanging.
So then, how can you sit there and pretend you didn't know for sure that Jesus of Nazareth would be killed?
Jesus could have easily saved himself.
Saved himself how?
By retrieving from his blasphemous claims. Our Torah has 613 sacred laws. I can't even count how many Jesus broke or treated with wanton disregard and disdain. He broke the laws that came from God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He violated the word of God, violated the laws of Moses. He consorted with the unclean and women and prostitutes, performed miracles on the Sabbath, claimed himself Messiah, forgave sin. Who was he to forgive sin? Only God can do that. That's not crossing the line, and I don't know what is.
Jesus was fulfilling your Old Testament prophecies of Isaiah to the letter. He was
also fulfilling the prophecies in Deuteronomy which warned against false messiahs and moral workers. Would have been one thing that he confined himself to the forests and rivers, spouting his ravings as the Passover did. With the great temple, it would have been derelict not to put a stop to it. He was whipping people, kicking them, treating them, threatening to destroy the temple, calling it a den of thieves. If someone did that in your St. Patrick's Cathedral, would you have not arrested them?
And yet, Judas Iscariot, who came forward in the face of this great threat, is in your eyes not a patriot, but a traitor. A traitor who, in your words, disgusted you. Why is that, Caiaphas?
Because he handed Jesus over for money.
And why did you hand Jesus over, Caiaphas?
The words and deeds of Jesus were leading toward rebellion. And the price of rebellion under Roman rule was a bloodbath and massacre, counselor. So I determined that it was better to have one man dead than 1,000. That's why.
I see. So you were looking out for the common Jewish man, is that correct?
I was.
Were you a common Jewish man, Caiaphas?
In the eyes of God, we're all the same.
But how about in the eyes of a common Jewish man? Were you seen as an aristocrat, weren't you?
Came from wealth.
Would you say that you were popular with the common Jewish man?
My job was a sacred one, not a popularity contest.
The high temple taxes that you inflicted on your people, would you say that made you more popular with the common Jewish man or less popular?
Oh, my bad. Objection, Your Honor. Vixen is badgering.
Subscribe.
The exchange rates at the temple were also extremely unfavorable to the common Jewish man. And the purification pools outside the temple, where the common Jewish man was required by law to be cleansed before being permitted to enter the temple, the purification pools were not free either, were they?
Cunningham.
No. I'll answer. The laws were the laws, and the rates were the rates.
And did you have a sliding scale for the poor?
No.
So the poor, who constituted a large percentage of the common Jewish man at the time, remained impure and unclean and were denied the right of worship.
You made your point.
No, I didn't. No, I don't think I have. Your position, Caiaphas, did not require you to be popular with the common Jewish man, did it?
My position required me to answer to God.
Did God appoint you the high priest of Sanderheim?
It was God. It was with God. Blessing.
It was with Rome's blessing, Caiaphas. You were appointed by Rome. And at the end of the day, for the 18 years you served, that's who you had to answer to, and that's who you were required to be popular with. And the day you showed Rome that you couldn't handle your own people was a day you'd have been thrown out on your ass. Isn't that true there?
I belong to God, not Rome. My job was to uphold the 613 sacred laws and to protect my temple, my people, and that's what I did.
Was not Jesus of Nazareth one of your people, Caiaphas? Whether he was a Messiah or a prophet or a holy man or a crazy man, was he not one of your own? And was it not considered the height of treachery to betray Jewish blood to your oppressor? Come on, Caiaphas. Tell us that you did not prick your conscience to turn Jesus, a fellow Jew, over to the Romans. Tell us that handing over a fellow rabbi to a certain death at the hands of his enemy didn't violate your sense of crossing the line and your knowledge of the law. Tell us, Caiaphas, tell us that at the end of the day, there was a difference in the eyes of God between what you did and what Judas did. This is purgatory, Caiaphas. I've got all day.
In terms of results, no difference.
How about in terms of follow-through? Judas recanted and tried to return the silver, didn't he?
He did.
And did you, Caiaphas, do anything at all to try to prevent Jesus' death?
No.
And therein lies the real difference between you and Judas Iscariot, does it not? And yet you sit here and say how Judas crossed the line, and that he disgusted you, and that if that's true, Caiaphas, then I wonder how you must have felt about your motherfucking self.
That's between me and God.
Well then, for your sake, Caiaphas, I hope that your God has more forward-thinking attitude than Judas's God does. Step down, you're excused.
Caiaphas the elder, Judas approached you, correct?
Yes.
He didn't have to approach you, Caiaphas the elder, did he?
No.
And yet he did.
Yes.
Of his own free will.
Yes.
And accepted payment for his betrayal.
Yes.
Payment, Judas did not say, Caiaphas the elder, put your money away. Mister, this one's on the arm, right?
Right.
Caiaphas the elder, I think we all realize the precocious position you were in, trying to protect your citizens from Roman reprisal.
And it makes you feel good to say that, doesn't it? After 2,000 years of persecution and vilification, you finally get around to saying, hey, you know it wasn't you and your people's fault. Is that it?
Good, Caiaphas the elder. I was only trying to
win your case, right? Tell you what, you people call me, I come. You question, I answer. But please, never say you realize the position I was in, because you have no idea the position I was in. And never try to excuse or forgive me, because I'm not interested in your forgiveness. God's forgiveness. This interests me. Yours, I could care less. Why? Because you have no idea. The people need forgiveness. The people who perpetrated the lies and exaggerations that became sacrosanct fact and led to hatred and violence for the past 2,000 years. They are the ones who need forgiveness, and not by you, but by me and my people. It's the writers of the gospel who need forgiveness, not me. No, sir. I know what it is to suffer. Do you? I don't think so.
Still yeah.
Julius, my best friend.
You're very handsome, Caiaphas.
If I am, it's because God made me, not because you say so. Good day.
Caiaphas ambles off wearily. Crossfade to St. Thomas.
My name is Thomas. At the Last Supper, I was the first one to say I would die for Jesus. And I was also the first one to head for the hills doing 90 when the Romans came and arrested him. And then when Jesus resurrected himself, I was also the guy who said I wouldn't believe he was who he said he was unless I could see with my own eyes the holes in his hands and personally inspect him and touch them as if I was some qualified medical examiner, like Quincy or something. But the thing of it was, Jesus showed them to me. And not only that, he let me touch them. In a ministry based entirely on the virtues of faith, he gave me proof. I had no faith, and he gave it to me for free. I don't know why I got the benefit of my doubt, and Judas didn't get help with his. And I'm not saying this because I like the guy, because personally, I thought Judas was a bit of a jerk-off. Actually, fucking dick would be more accurate. Judas was the kind of guy, at least with me, where one minute he's your friend, and the next minute he's making fun of you in front of everybody. He used to like to say that the reason Jesus had to do the miracles of the loaves and the fishes was because I ate all the food. I ate all the food when no one was looking. Stuff like that. But then other times, he could be real nice. Like, once we were partnered together to go into town to heal people and cast out demons. And well, I had some problems that day. Everyone I tried to heal ended up getting worse. In fact, this one lady, I almost blinded, and another guy started going into convulsions. But Judas fixed it. He healed it. He really did. And that tells me his faith was genuine. And when we got back to camp that night, he didn't tell anybody how I messed up. In fact, he said I did a good job, and I appreciated that. I knew Jesus knew it was bullshit, but I appreciated that gesture. I thought it showed largeness on Judas' part, And the thing is, Judas was kind of a dick, but he wasn't shallow or petty. He really was pretty large. He wasn't the best, but he was far from the worst. Jesus liked him a lot. In fact, Judas was right up there in the top 3 with Mary Magdalene and Peter, who, by the way, could also be a dick sometimes too. The trick with Peter was never talk about fish. The guy was crazy for fish. Say something wrong about the fish and forget about it. The guy would go crazy. Anyways, some people say Judas did what he did because he was greedy. Personally, I think that's bullshit. The guy wasn't wandering around the desert for 3 years with Jesus and a bunch of ragamuffins like us because he was looking to get rich. Other people say that the devil got into him. Again, bullshit. Judas was loyal to a fault, obsessively loyal, even. Judas would have taken on the devil and his entire army, 1 against 1,000 if he had to, and he would have done it with relish. Other people say Judas did it because he knew the ship was sinking and he was trying to get himself a nut, to have something to fall back on. Listen, Judas was not a fallback guy. He was 100% fall forward, and to me, that deserves some consideration. I was not fall forward, not by a long shot, and neither were most of the others. Judas was a dick, but he deserved better. Just one saint's opinion.
Judge enters.
Next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense would like to introduce Exhibit A14, ancient surveillance footage of an event that occurred less than 24 hours after Jesus' arrest. Lights, please.
The squad room in Jerusalem.
Pilate gonna kick your ass.
Pilate gonna see that ass, he gonna kick it 2 times.
Yo, when Pilate see these motherfuckers' ass, he gonna be like Centurion. It's time to whoop ass.
He gonna rape your wives.
He gonna take your cattle.
He gonna kick your cattle's ass too.
And your sheep and your lambs.
Pilate gonna cancel your grandmother's WIC check, B.
Pilate enters.
What's all this damn ruckus about?
All hail Pontius Pilate. Hail, hail, hail.
What is there, a problem here?
Judas is trying to recant.
Hold up a minute. Who?
Judas, aristocrat from the Jesus of Nazareth crew.
This stinky motherfucker right here?
Oh, I'm sorry. I got caught up in the reading. Jesus is an innocent man. Please, please.
Should we start whooping ass now?
He's innocent. Please, please. Jesus is innocent. Come on now, Judas. Them, Santa, who says, hold up a sec. Yo, Kurt, what they call themselves?
Sanhedrin, sir.
Right, Judas. Them sandhead sons paid you 30 pieces of silver. Now that's 4 months' wages. That ain't no chicken feed. I made a mistake, please. You don't understand, man. I understand perfectly. You sold out your brother. Now you feel guilty, so you trying to come in here and talk about it was dark. I kissed the wrong motherfucker. But Romans, man, Romans, we don't dance that song. I'm recanting. You can't recant. To his boys. Hey, fellas, remember, the last team I showed up in here talking about I can't recant. Believe me, J. Crew, you don't want to do that. What you need to do is relax, brother. Take the wife into a puppet show, something. This ain't nothing but a little PR opportunity for the holidays. That's all. But he's innocent. Please, please. Hey now, listen, Judas. We don't give a good goddamn about this Jesus. He just a motherfucker talks a lot of shit. Everybody talks shit. Even I've been known to talk a little shit on the once in a while. Thing is, we ain't trying to lay down no heavy charge on that Nazareth boy. We just gonna beat down his ass a little, make them send Hinja, call it happy souls. We can live all in peace. I mean, don't you want to live in peace, Judas? Ain't that what it's all about? I mean, after all, brother, ain't like we looking to crucify that motherfucker.
Fade back to courtroom. Defense calls Pontius Pilate.
I object.
On what ground?
On the ground that it's objectionable.
Overruled.
But your holiness, really, it's objectionable. I sense, although I cannot put it into words.
Overruled.
Nay.
Pontius Pilate.
Pontius Pilate.
That's right, baby.
But you're a licensed pilot?
Sit down, elf and meal.
Pontius Pilate. Judas Iscariot came down to your tent to recant his testimony, correct?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
You then told Judas Iscariot that Jesus was only going to receive a beatdown, correct?
On the advice of counsel, I cite my right to plead the Fifth Amendment.
You bear responsibility for the death of Jesus Christ and not Judas Iscariot, but you, isn't that correct, Pontius Pilate?
On the advice of counsel, blah, 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 blah. Your Honor, I got a 2 p.m. tea time. Can I go now?
This won't take long. This won't take long, Pontius.
Judas came to your office and begged you on a bended knee to take the money and release Jesus, and you refused him. Judas recanted. He tried to return the money, first to the Sanhedrin and then to you. Do you not deny that?
Hey, if I had messed up that bad as that cat had, I would have tried to rebate them ducats too.
So you admit that Judas did try?
No, I did not admit that he tried. Did you hear me? Admit that.
We all know what happened, Pilate. We just saw the fucking tape.
Ain't nothing on that so-called tape implicates me to anything, but trying to find a peacefully non-legal solution to a potentially incendiary problem.
Right, Mr. Pilate, you were the 5th perfect of Judea, correct?
Correct.
A perfect being what?
Governor, also known as procurator, my official title was hegemon.
Hegemon?
Translated from the Greek, it means excellency.
I see. And you governed or procurated over Judea for 26 to 36 AD, correct?
Longest 10 years of my life.
Why do you say that?
You ever been to Judea, Missy? It ain't Paris, France, believe that.
I see.
Yeah, that Moses must have read the map backwards, misplaced his bifocals or something, because if that had been the promised land, shit, them Jews should have held out for a better promise.
You didn't care much for Judea much.
Care for it, armpit of the empire, if you ask me. No atmosphere, nothing. Hot, dirty, dusty, flies everywhere. Complete lack of culture and amusements. I'd rather have spent 10 years up inside the crack of my ass. But Augustus ordered me to keep the peace there. So I obeyed my emperor and did my duty.
And kept the peace?
The Pax Romana, baby. The prime directive. That's right.
And under your rule, how was the peace kept in Judea, Mr. Pilate?
By any means necessary.
Violently?
Violently or otherwise. They was free to have it any ways they wanted.
According to Philo of Alexandria, who wrote about you in 41 CE, your tenure as governor of Rome was known for its constantly repeated executions without trial, wanton injustices, graft, and ceaseless grievously cruelty. Care to comment on that?
No, I do not.
During your reign as procurator in Jerusalem, how many deaths did you order?
A lot, and I don't apologize for it either. Them Jews was real rowdy.
Rowdy?
That's right, rowdy, as in not docile, as in a motherfucker had to put his foot down.
And you put it down, didn't you?
Damn skippy I did. Orders from Rome. What a brother to do.
During your tenure in Judea, how many crucifixions would you say you ordered?
A lot less than my predecessor. That's for damn sure. That motherfucker would have crucified C-Mike for yelling fire at a barbecue. Man would go buck wild from jump. Me, I reduced crucifixions in Palestine by 70%. And now that's documented.
Well, that's so lovely, Mr. Pilate, but I'll direct you now to answer the question posed to you.
And which was that?
How many crucifixions did you preside over during your time in Jerusalem?
I say a few hundred, give or take. So what?
Over 700 crucifixions while you were on assignment in Judea. Does that sound about right?
Sounds good to me, sure.
And you publicly washed your hands of how many of them, Mr. Pilate?
False.
I don't know what you mean by that.
I mean that other than Jesus of Nazareth, out of over 700 crucifixions and countless executions, did you ever, in any other instance, publicly wash your hands and attempt to abdicate responsibility for your actions, Mr. Pilate?
I don't recall.
You backpedaled because you knew it was wrong, didn't you?
Romans don't even have backpedal.
You knew Jesus was a holy man or a fool, but whatever he was, you believed him when he said that his kingdom wasn't on earth, didn't you?
See now, I don't recall that conversation.
You don't recall that conversation. You know what, Mr. Pilate? Why don't you say that again so I can slap a perjury charge on your ass? You ordered the death of Christ, you and you alone, and then you pawned it off on Jesus' reticence and Judas's and impetuous and the politics of the Sanhedrin and the rowdiness of the Jewish people. Is that not the case, Pontius Pilate? Yes or no?
You can go on squawking if you want to. My conscience is clean. What you need to do is go take it up with the Jews.
Mr. Pilate, You were the high priest of the Jerusalem. Were the high priest of Jerusalem authorized to order a death sentence?
No, they were not.
Was King Herod authorized to issue a death sentence?
No, he was not.
How about the Jewish people themselves? Were they free to issue death sentences at their whim and fancy?
Nope.
One man, Mr. Pilate, in all of Judea, one man alone had the authority to put another man to death. Who was that man, Mr. Pilate?
Am I on trial here? Because last time I checked, it was your client, Judas Iscariot, freezing his narrow ass off in the ninth circle of hell, not me.
My client recanted with a remorseful heart and was ignored.
Then you need to take that up with them Jews, not me. I mean, this ain't some new theory I'm introducing to you. It's documented. Ain't no Sherlock Holmes and Nancy Drew mystery over here, lady. Them Jews was cantankerous, ornery. They worshiped the jealous, angry, and vengeful God. And guess what? Surprise, surprise. They was angry, jealous, and vengeful themselves. I never had a problem in Judea. Wasn't caused by some rabble-rousing, no-account Jew. Believe me, sister, you need to talk to them, not me.
It's always the Jews, Mr. Pilate, isn't it?
Well, it sure as shit was in Judea, missy.
You know what you want to know what I really think, Mr. Pilate? I think this whole story about you hemming and having about what to do with Jesus is just a load of made-up crap written by Jewish Christian evangelists seeking to broaden the appeal of the Jesus story to the Roman Empire. There is nothing that we know about you, Mr. Pilate. Absolutely nothing that suggests for even a second that you would have even a passing hesitation about putting any Jew to death, let alone a revolutionary figure like Jesus, who was being proclaimed the Messiah, who had entered the city of Jerusalem to crowds of cheering supporters, and who had the very next day incited a riot at the temple. You hated your assignment, you hated Judea, and Mr. Pilate, you hated Jews. Hated them. You hated the Jews because they contested you. You hated them because they fought back. You hated them because they clung to their religious beliefs and were willing to die for them. And most of all, I think you hated them because you knew they were stronger than you. I think that it bothered you a great deal. I think, Mr. Pilate, that it made you resentful and vengeful and furious. I think it made you feel small and inadequate. I think it gave you skin irritations and nervous tics. I think it kept you up at night and made you count the days until you could return to safe, bourgeois comfort of Rome. That's what I think. I think you're hiding behind historical inaccuracies and outright lies, Mr. Pilate. I think you're a liar and a fraud. I think that when Jesus was put before you, you did not see a God or a prophet. You did not see a lunatic or an innocent. You didn't even see a human being. I think, Mr. Pilate, that what you saw before you that morning was just one more Jew, and you didn't hesitate. Why would you? You didn't wash your hands, Pontius Pilate. History did it for you. Isn't that true?
I think I've had enough here.
If you were a man, Pilate, you'd own up to the truth.
The truth? Whose truth you talking about, Red? The truth is, I was made a saint in the Ethiopian church. The truth is, I was named a martyr for the Christian church in 348 AD. That's the damn truth.
A Christian martyr.
Did I stutter, girlie?
Well, I guess that's what they mean about history being a lie agreed to.
A lie? What you know about what a lie and what's the truth? What you know about my history? All you got to go on is some book written 4 different ways by 4 different Jews wasn't even there in the first place. And what you know about my life after Palestine? What you know about what I might have did or didn't do when I got back home to the motherland? That's right, you don't know jack, do you? They didn't write down that part of the story, did they? Shit, I'm gonna tell you something. You and your presumptuous nature reminds me more and more of my ex-wife Rhonda every minute. And believe me, that ain't no compliment. Yes, I met that Jesus boy, seemed like a fine fellow. He dressed like a hobo and smelled like a goat. But give the boy a shave and a shower, and he would have been basically all right. And I'll tell you something else. Unlike Judas, that Nazarene boy had character. He didn't come up on me begging and groveling, crying like a bitch. He faced me like a man, like a Roman almost, and that impressed me. I was willing to just have him be clubbed in his head for a couple hours, redirect his youthful energies. But them Jews, they wasn't having none of that. You can say what you want to, think what you want to, but them Jews was fixing to pitch a fit until that boy was served up for lunch like a chicken in a skillet. And they had the numbers on us that weekend. 200,000 strong converging on the city for they high holidays and ready to rumble at the drop.
I did what I had to do to preserve the damn peace. Why? Because that was my damn job. I did my job. I did my damn job, and now you want to call me a liar. Question my veracity and my character. I am a Roman lady, 100%, 24/7. We never close. Underneath my ball sack is stamped Veritas, and that means truth. And that means my honor is defined by my integrity, and my integrity is defined by my truth. And I defy you, here and now, to produce one shred of evidence to support your wild and defamatory claims. Shit, you better check the resume 2 times before you start trying to sweep your dirt under a Roman's rug. I am clean like Dove and ready for love, Missy. I live in heaven. Where you live at, girlfriend? Shit, I'll tell you what though, when you get your head straightened out, give me a call sometime if you want to. I'll take you down to the aqueduct for a pizza and a tussle, show you my tattoos. Any more questions?
I think, Mr. Pilot, that you've told us all we need to know.
Okay then, I'm about to roll out. Now boo, work on my short game.
The witness is excused.
Hail Caesar, baby.
Your Excellency, hedge your mind. Just one question, if I may.
What's that?
Yes, I wonder if you would tell the court, Hedge, the following. If indeed Judas Iscariot came to your tent to recant, and I'm not saying he did or didn't, and by the way, the only gospel that says anything at all about Judas recanting is Matthew. So it's 3 against 1 on one question was only a Greek, but a drunken Greek and a card cheat. But anyways, please tell us now, if you will please, good sir, Hedge, when Judas came to your tent to allegedly recant, if in fact he did, which I am in no way seeking confirmation of herewith, however, if I by chance, the gin-soaked Greek was miraculously correct, and Judas did in fact attempt to recant and return the tarnished silver, tell us please, and this is very important, Hedge, did you get the sense or impression that Judas was recanting out of genuine remorse and a concern for Jesus? Or do you think he was seeking to undo the damage out of a neck-saving fear of the dire consequences and everlasting repercussions of betraying our rightful and most exalted and just Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, the divine Son of Man?
I am a man, and the defense counsel may dispute this, who happens to know something about remorse, personal and otherwise. In my day, I stared into the eyes of perhaps 10,000 accused men and sat in judgment of them. I spared a few and executed plenty. I sent people to face the whip, the cell, the gallows, and the cross. And I sent a few home as well. Remorse is rare, but when you see it, it is unmistakable. Judas Iscariot had no remorse. His fear left no room for it. His fear was 100% ego-driven and self-serving. 100% panic. 0% remorse. If you believe nothing else, believe that.
Hedge, thank you. Thank you indeed.
Next witness.
Your Honor, defense reconjures Satan to the stand.
Lou, can you come in now? Bailiff, go fetch him. Go fetch Satan.
Alone?
Go.
Satan enters, quite perturbed.
Oh, have a seat, Lou.
I want to file a formal fucking complaint, Frank.
Ah, this ain't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria again now, is it, Lou?
No, Frank, this isn't about the turkey roll in the cafeteria. What this is about, Frank, is I recognize a couple of your court officers at the vending machine. Okay? Ask me how I recognize them, Frank.
Lou.
No, don't you fucking Lou me, you little fag. God's been fucking stealing souls again, hasn't he?
El Fahimi, escort the jury out.
Yes, right this way, please.
To Butch.
And you, Honeywell, you're on my fucking list, AC. So don't expect any last second reprisals. Reprieves. Short and tank tops, stretch, pack, light.
This is unacceptable behavior, Lou.
Don't tell me what's unacceptable. Those two court officers were mine, Frank. Their souls in hell, safe and secure. What? I don't got enough to contend with. Now I gotta deal with God crushing the barnyards of hell, poaching, condemned poachery like some kind of silver fox tail thief in the fucking night. This is bullshit, Frank, and you know it. I'm not leaving here this time without my satisfaction. So you better do something about it right fucking now.
Do something like what?
Number one, I'm not testifying at any more of these circle jerks no more. I'm not some wind-up doll to be summoned and dismissed like a fucking toy. Number two, I want 2 souls before I leave here today. So take a memo and pass it on upstairs. I'll take you and whoever.
Me?
Yeah, you. I should have claimed you off the dung heap after Lee Salim. And I want some Darwin and a tall bourbon meat. To Cunningham. What the fuck are you looking at?
I'd like to start my questioning.
Why? You got someplace you gotta go, dish rag?
No, when you're done crying, just let me know.
Oh, I'm sorry. Maybe you can clear this up for me. But today, fuck with someone who can rip your heart out through your fucking miserable, dried up cunt. Damn. Is that what day this is? Cause unless I'm mistaken, I'm pretty sure today is not that day.
Today is your day to answer my questions. When you're through behaving like a petulant child, that is.
Cunningham, I am directing you to hit the off switch on them flapping gums of yours until further notice. And you, Lou, with all due respect to your stature and station, could you cut me a break here, please?
Frank, I've always been good to you.
And I to you. Is that not so? Now, listen. The complaint is duly noted and will be kicked upstairs at the conclusion of today's testimony, okay? Now, I need to call the damn jury back in here. And what I need to know from the both of y'all's views is that when I move to do so, you two will conduct yourselves with deportment and adjustment to the solemnity of these proceedings. Now, can I have your word on that?
I'm ready to proceed, Your Honor.
With civility?
If I'm met with civility.
You know what, Cunningham? All those excuses you got wedged between that dubious cleavage of yours, your mother, the bulimia, the herpes, the booze, the abortion, the rape, the bipolar adventures, the twin suicide attempts, the objective failures at every relationship you ever attempted, all those things do nothing to band-aid the simple fact that there comes a time when the world stops rewarding potential. And when that time comes for you, you throw yourselves the world's biggest pity party and dedicate the rest of your short, pathetic, inconsequential life to fading fault everywhere. Fucking else, but in return, gaze of your own cosmically altered reflection, okay?
Satan, please. You are perhaps out of bounds here.
Elohim, El Fomi. On a good day, your cock measures 3.5 inches erect. And it goes off on a hair trigger. If you so much as sneeze, worse than you're a flatterer and your love of God is utterly false, as if hair color. And the sole reason you're so hot for this nasty train wreck over here is because you're addicted to tragedy and punishment. Not because you think you're a piece of shit, but because, it's the truth. Your self-diagnosis is correct. You're a bag of hot air, a weakling, and you will never, ever be loved. To Cunningham. You'll never be loved either, Cunningham, and that's because you're incapable of giving it. But you already know that about yourself, didn't you? And to the judge, you can bring the jury in now, Frank. Never let it be said that the Prince of Tyre stood in the way of the truth.
No more outbursts.
I'm Buddha floating on a lily pad.
Alpha Mia, bring them on in.
Sir, yes, sir.
Alfino opens the door.
Take your seats, please. Do not tarry. Do not tarry.
Jury enters. Counselor, may begin.
I apologize for my early behavior, counselor. I had some bad fish at lunch.
Mr. Satan, you've had a long-standing feud with God, correct?
No, I love God.
You love God.
Very much. God made me.
Okay, you say God made you.
God did make me. And so, it says so in the Bible.
I know about the Bible, Mr. Satan. It also says in the Bible, in Matthew, I believe, in Matthew it says, a good tree cannot bear bad fruit, correct?
Correct.
So are you saying that you're good, or are you saying that God is bad?
I would never say God is bad.
So then, are you telling this court that you're good?
I don't know. Are you good, counselor?
That's not what I asked you.
I'm sorry.
Just another question.
I don't believe in good and bad. What I believe is the truth.
Fine. According to Job and Nehemiah, God created you in the first 3 days, true?
True.
You were an angel.
True.
You were present when God created earth.
True.
Then God created man and gave him, not you, dominion over earth. True?
True.
You were in fact ordered by God to serve man. True?
True.
According to Genesis and Ezekiel, you then tempted Eve to eat the apple in order to prove to God that he had made an error in giving man dominion over the earth. At which point, according to Luke, you then fell from heaven like lightning and became God's adversary. And ever since that day, you've competed for souls with God in order to try to prove the point that man is not worthy to rule over earth. Isn't that true, Mr. Satan?
I don't compete with God. God competes with himself.
That's not what I asked you.
I'm not trying to answer your question.
No, you're not trying to answer my question.
Your Honor, I'm trying to form a response here.
Let him answer, Cunningham.
Your Honor, it does not seem that...
Quiet. Proceed.
Thank you. Look, I didn't make you people, God did, okay? But there was a design flaw in the creation. He gave you free will, and to balance that out, you were designed to self-correct. But unlike the free will muscle, the self-correct muscle is not a particular favor of the Homo sapien. I say self-correct falls somewhere between colonoscopy and firing squad. on most people's holidays, on most people's holiday wish list. At any rate, the truth is, I don't have to actively compete for human souls. I don't have to rule or flatter or tempt or deceive, because with God at the helm and you people running around wreaking havoc, I'll be honest. I spend most of my time on the sofa watching some 1-hour dramas on HBO.
And what? Getting tossed out of heaven, that didn't bother you at all?
There's a concept, Cunningham, called playing the cards you were dealt. One can either accept that concept, or one can slowly lose their mind, heart, and soul. I like to be more helpful to you here. But really, that's what it all comes down to.
Is that so?
I'm just a fallen angel trying to keep my dick hard in a monotheistic society. Anything else you want to ask?
Your Honor, this witness is clearly lying. I move that his entire testimony be stricken from the record.
I'll not allow that. Sorry. You conjured him. What comes out of your mouth is your responsibility.
But he's obviously lying.
You gotta expand your conscience, counselor.
Your Honor.
Unless you have another question, Cunningham, I suggest you step down.
But please, just...
Forward or back? You've been instructed. Now what will it be?
Why do you love God, Mr. Satan?
Why not? What's not to love?
Specifically, Mr. Satan, what specifically do you love about God?
I don't know where to begin.
Pick a spot.
I love God because he's all powerful and all forgiving. I love God because he's just, justice is perfect. I love God because God loves me.
God loves you.
Very much. Gift baskets at Christmas, Hallmark greetings on all the major holidays.
Stop it. If God loves you, then why did he throw you out of his kingdom?
He didn't throw me out, I left.
That's not what it says in the Bible.
Yeah, they fudged that part. You're right, but that's because you people really only respond to fear and threat. If they told you straight up that there was no lock on the gates of heaven, then you have no incentive at all to even try to be halfway decent.
In other words, God lied?
God didn't write the Bible. You don't know that, right?
Of course I know that.
Then why would you say that God lied?
Mr. Satan, does God love Judas of Iscariot? Yes or no?
God loves everybody.
And yet Judas is in hell. So what use is God's love to Judas if my client is allowed to languish in damnation?
The client is free to leave whenever he wants to. In fact, I wish he would. I could use the room.
That's not true and you know it.
Look, maybe you should sit down and catch your breath.
The real truth is that God's love for us is conditional. Isn't that right? You failed to meet God's conditions and he threw you in the trash. Judas failed and he's in a catatonic stupor.
Your client succumbed to despair.
Yes, and if human despair is so powerful as to render God powerless over it, then what does that say about God? If it says two things, Mr. Satan, either God's not all-powerful and therefore useless, or God's love is conditional, which renders the love false and unworthy. Which one is it?
Cut it out. Please don't take this personally, but your father never really loved you or wanted you, right? And the only reason your mother didn't abort you was because she was afraid of scarring. I think she told you that once, didn't she?
Mr. Satan.
Just because your parents resent you doesn't mean that God does.
Mr. Satan, I asked you a direct question, and I'm demanding from you a direct answer.
The direct answer is that you are completely wrong.
Is God powerless or spiteful? I'm ordering you to answer.
You're powerless and spiteful, Cunningham, not God.
Your Honor, he's not answering.
What do you want me to do about it?
But he's not answering.
Open your heart to God, Cunningham.
Shut up, Your Honor.
I suggest you step down, Cunningham.
But I'm not finished.
Then finish.
But Your Honor, this isn't fair.
It is what it is, Cunningham.
But Your Honor.
Cunningham.
Your Honor.
What, Cunningham? What?
You're a fucking liar!
Truly sorry you feel that way.
Nothing further.
Alpha Mia, cross.
No cross, no.
You're excused.
Thanks, Frank. Counselor, you availed yourselves as expected. And by the way, El Foamy, you're completely wrong too. I'll be in touch.
Next witness.
Blackout, beat. Jesus makes his way to Judas. He speaks to us.
Right now, I am Fallujah. I am in Darfur. I am on the 63rd and Park having dinner with Helene Barkin and Ron Perlman. Right now, I'm on Lafayette and Astor, waiting to be hit up for change so I can get high. I'm taking a walk through the Rose Garden with George Bush. I'm helping Donald Rumsfeld get a good night's sleep. I was in the cave with Osama and on the plane with Mohammed Atta. And what I want you to know is that your work has barely begun. And what I want you to trust is that efficacy of divine love is practiced consciously. And what I need you to believe is that you hate who I love, who do not know me at all. And make no mistake, who I love is every last one. I am every last one. People ask me, where are you? Where are you? Verily I ask of you is to ask yourself, where are you? Where are you? Judas.
No response.
Judas.
Beat. Judas slowly emerges from the frozen state of catatonia.
Who's that? It is ever anybody else. Judas. I miss you. I miss you, Judas.
Jesus lays his hand on him.
Don't fucking touch me.
Judas.
I said take your fucking hands off me. Take them off.
I'm sorry,
Man, just back off my grill, man. Back off.
I'm sorry.
Back off more.
I'm sorry.
Pause.
Judas. If 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if the brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard look, then Judas, I will not sleep at night nor sleep at all till we let me love him again. Judas, no. Why?
Well, I think that was me. I'm gonna repeat it. Right?
Yeah. That's his wrong in the right.
Judas, if 1,000 strangers spit on me and kick me as they pass, I will smile. But if the brother of my heart gives me only a passing hard look, then Judas, I will not sleep that night, nor sleep at all, till we let me love him again.
No!
No what?
No more fucking fortune cookies, that's what. You want to say something? I can't stop you. You want to apologize? Fine. Apologize and go. Just for once, speak like a normal fucking person.
I am a normal person, Judas. I am not here to apologize. I am who I am and not who you demand me to be. I am always going to be who I am and what I am. And when you have ever heard me deliver my message any differently, Judas, when?
Just go away!
I won't go away.
Well, that'd be first.
I have never gone away, Judas. Look at me.
He does.
I love you, Judas. And all I want is to be not just near you, but with you.
Should have thought of that before.
Before what?
Just get the fuck out of here, man, okay?
Judas.
Don't fucking Judas me. You're not wanted here, okay? Mr. fucking above it all?
I am not above it all. I am right here in it. Don't you see that?
And don't you get that I don't want you here?
You think your suffering is a one-way street? It is not. It is the exact opposite of not.
You got a lot of fucking nerve, man.
And you've got no nerve at all. Where's your heart in all this, Judas? You think you were with me for any other reason than that? Is that your heart, Judas? You were all heart. You were my heart. Don't you know that?
I tell you what I know. I watched you trip over your own dusty feet and heal the sick, the blind, the lame, the unclean. Any two-bit stranger stub their toe when some lowly, distant relative, too cheap to buy enough wine for his own fucking wedding, suddenly runs out of booze. No problem. You just presto changeo, and that was his fucking Miller time. An old king. King again, wasn't it, bro? But when I fucking needed you, where the fuck were you, huh?
Judas.
You forgave Peter? Bullshit. Thomas? Bullshit. You knocked Paul off of Tarsus, you knocked Paul of Tarsus off a horse. You raised Lazarus from the fucking dead. But me? Me? Your heart? What about me? What about me, Jesus? Huh? You just thought that I made a mistake and that I was wrong and that you should have told me? And if I had broken your heart, wasn't sufficient enough thing to do to hang myself? And then you should have told me what to do then.
Don't you think that if I knew that it would have changed your mind, that I would have?
Pause.
All I know is that you broke me, unfixable, and that I'm here. And you want to know when you delivered your message differently? At the temple, Jesus. That's when. And you were beautiful there. And you left there 3 inches taller, and we all saw it. I loved you. That's all I did. And that's the truth. And now I'm here.
Judas, what if I were to tell you that you are not here? That you are with me in my kingdom even now? And that you have been there since the morning of my ascension, and that you have never left.
Judas spits in Jesus' face.
That's what I think about you.
Jesus doesn't wipe it off.
I love you, Judas.
Pause.
I love you.
Just stop.
Don't you see me here, Judas?
I see a lot of things.
You see a lot of things.
That's right.
How about him? Do you see him?
Satan appears.
Do you know him? Call unto him. Touch him. He is not there, because he does not exist, Judas. Rather, they must conjure him, and still he is but a vapor blown away by a hummingbird's breath. He is false. He is a lie. He is not real. Touch him. Go ahead.
I don't want to touch him.
Stand up, Judas.
You know I can't do that.
No. What I know is that you can.
Get the fuck over yourself, man.
Will you feed my lambs, Judas? Will you take care of my little sheep? Will you feed my lambs?
Feed your lambs?
You know exactly what I'm asking.
Then go away!
If you don't love me, Judas, then you're gonna have to look me in the eyes and say it.
I don't love you.
If you don't love me, then why are you here?
No!
Judas! Judas, don't you know what would happen the very instant you go down on your knees?
Why on my knees? They should have buried me standing up, because I've been on my knees my whole life. You left me!
Judas is slowly reverting to his frozen catatonic state.
I am right here.
I would have never believed that you could have left me.
I never left.
But you didn't love me.
I do love you.
Why? Didn't you just make good enough? So what could have made you love me?
Please take my hands, Judas.
Where are they?
Please. Right here.
I can't see them.
They're right here.
Where are you going?
I'm right here.
Don't leave me.
I'm here.
I can't hurt.
I love you, Judas.
I can't.
Please stay.
I can't hurt.
Please love me, Judas.
I can't.
Judas is frozen again. A long silence. Butch Honeywell enters Judas's lair with a 12-pack of Canadian beer. Butch looks around, clears his throat, takes off his hat.
Mr. Iscariot? Mr. Iscariot? I don't know if you can hear me, but I just want to introduce myself, if I could. I'm Butch Honeywell. I was a foreman of your jewelry at your trial there, and, well, we found you guilty, Mr. Iscariot. I'm real sorry about that. Oh, I brought you a 12-pack of beer. Actually, I guess it's 5-pack by now. But anyway, here. I don't know if you drink beer, but it's good stuff. Anyways, I'll just set it down right beside you right here. Okay, then.
Butch goes to leave, but then he stops.
So, I think I'm dead, Mr. Iscariot. And I'm a little concerned about that because I don't think my soul's ready for judgment. But nobody else has so far corroborated that I'm dead, so I just don't bring it up. But the fact is that if this is a dream, it's the longest dream I've ever endured. And really, I really miss my wife, Mr. Iscariot. Is it okay if I tell you that?
Butch pops a beer, sits.
I remember I was with these two girls that night when I first seen my wife, Mr. Iscariot. I was at a party, Jimmy Rubin's house, because Jimmy's mama worked till midnight. So he had the house to himself. And you know, me and these two girls, Susie Heller and Della Mae Robin, we were just talking, smoking cigarettes out on Miss Rayburn's deck, away from the party. I was depressed over something or other, probably because school was ending. Plus I had just been in the school play. I had played Tom in the Glass Menagerie. It was the first time I'd ever acted, and everyone said I was real good. But now, the play was over, and school was almost over. And for the part in the play, they had given me this real short haircut, like 1940 style. In my ears, Mrs. Iscariot, I don't know if you can notice, but they stick out a little bit. So, the short haircut and all, I was feeling a little self-conscious and dumb. And anyway, just not too cheery. So anyways, I'm out there on the deck talking to Susie and Dylan, and all of a sudden I see this girl inside at the party. She had, I guess, just arrived. She had on a red jacket. It was a cheerleading jacket from the high school just across the state lines in Virginia. The Red Raiders. I remember. All I saw was blonde hair and a red jacket, and this smile that was, even from a distance, just kind of electrifying to the heart, you know? About a minute later, the sliding door on the deck opens, and this girl, she comes out by herself, and she's heading towards us. Turns out she's friends with Della from back in the day, from, I don't know, Girl Scouts, Brownies, something like that. Anyways, she walks over, and she was so beautiful that I just remember thinking to myself that this is exactly the words. This is exactly word for word what I thought. I ain't even gonna bother talking to this girl. So she comes over, says hello, and I just excuse myself right off the deck and head back inside, just to say my goodbyes and skedaddle. And anyways, I tried to leave, but then Jimmy handed me a beer, and someone else started passing the bottle of Rebel Yell. And before you know it, you know, long kids and whatnot. And anyways, a little later, I'm sitting on the couch when this girl, my future wife, She just comes up to me by herself and she says, I saw you in that play the other night. You made me cry. 2 days later, we went out on a date. On the way back, I was driving her home, and we passed by this house where my friend Dave Hogue used to live, who had died. And I hadn't been by this house since he passed. The family didn't live there no more. But when I saw the house, I got struck with this feeling. And I asked her if she wouldn't mind if we just pulled up in front of that house and just sat for a moment. She said, sure. So I parked, and we just sat in the car for a while, quiet, not saying nothing. And before I knew it, Mr. Iscariot, I was tearing up. Because this kid, he had been a real good friend of mine, you know? And then I just started crying, Mr. Iscariot. I couldn't help myself, and I couldn't shut it off. And I was real embarrassed. And she just held me while tears and snot and whatnot just poured out of me onto her little white sweater. And she didn't mind about that. She didn't mind at all. At some point, I drove her home, and we got to her door, and we started to kiss. And well, God, it was like, I'll tell you, it was like peaches and dynamite. And before I left, I apologized to her about crying and all. And she said, don't be a jackass, Butch Honeywell. And I smiled, but then I went on to explain my meaning, which was, you know, if you want a girl to think you're sensitive or something, then maybe taking her to the house of your dead friend and crying all over her pretty white sweater might be a good way to pull it off. And you know what she said, Mrs. Iscariot? She looked at me for a good while with them all the way dazzling eyes of hers. And then she just said, well, if it was a trick, then I'm tricked. 3 years into our marriage, I took a job teaching at the state college. I was popular with the students because I found a way to make them want to learn. One night, at the end of the semester, they took me out for beers. I ended up having an assignation with one of the co-eds, a young lady named Lucy. And I went home that night, got into bed next to my wife, drunk as a skunk, and I remember, before I passed out, I was looking at her. I always liked to look at her when she was sleeping, because she always looked so good. I had a little nickname for her. I used to call her my little baby dinosaur, because that's how she looked when she slept. Like one of those cute cartoon little baby dinosaurs. Like a little brontosaurus, but cute. Anyways, when I woke up the next morning, she was still sleeping. And what I had done the night before came back to me. And I looked at my wife, and boy, she looked exactly the same as always. But somehow, she just wasn't my little baby dinosaur no more, you know? And she woke up, and she didn't know nothing about nothing. And everything was exactly the same as if the night before had never happened, except it wasn't the same. And I knew it. And I had no idea why I had done what I'd done, but I had done it. And it couldn't be changed. My girl, she got up and fixed blueberry French toast with maple walnut pecans. I didn't eat it. No way I could eat it. Nothing was ever the same after that moment. Mr. Iscariot, you know, I tried a lot of things to make it better. The only thing that did was more beer and women. Do you know who W.H. Auden was, Mr. Iscariot? W.H. Auden was a poet who once said, God may reduce you on Judgment Day to tears of shame, reciting by heart the poems you would have written had your life been good. She was my poem, Mr. Iscariot. Her and the kids, but mostly her. You cashed in silver, Mr. Iscariot, but me, I threw away gold. That's a fact. That's a natural fact.
A long beat, Jesus sighs, takes off his shirt, plunges it into the bucket, rinses it, and begins to wash Judas's feet. Jesus washes meticulously and with care. He washes and washes. Perhaps the water is mixed with tears. Lights fade. The end.
That was
Deep, right?